Chapter 41, How to Use Your Summons 101 Disclaimer, I own nothing. This history have no interest in offend any party, having the sole objective of only entertain the readers. Enjoy. Those who stand at the top determine what's wrong and what's right. This very place is neutral ground. Justice will prevail, you say? But of course it will. Whoever wins this war becomes justice. Don Quixote. Doflamingo, One Piece. The next day, Sunday. It's now early in the morning. I mean, I'm a space station, there's no morning here, so I'm using the New York time zone as a reference. It's 4 a.m. in New York, and I'm again in the training room familiarizing myself with my new powers and changes. I noticed a loophole. To cheat through the assimilation process. Partially at least. Works like that. Yesterday I noticed that I can't use all the cyborg features of Inuyashiki because of the low percentage of assimilation. But if I use the alt form mechanic and change my body to that of Inuyashiki, I can use all his body features like his back thrusters, laser guns, and others. With a little practice, I can change only the part that I want, so will have no loss to me, and I won't need to change my external appearance. The problem is that I can't cheat all the way. The potency of attack and range of the technopathy as examples has not changed. I will have to go through all the assimilation processes to be able to use 100% of Inuyashiki's power level. And now I'm trying another idea that came from the same source. I will only transform specific parts of my body into animal parts to use these advantages more efficiently. There's no lack of people theorizing about how a human-like animal would be or how strong/fast a human-sized animal would be. Like ants that can lift 50 times their body weight. So if I can accomplish it, I will take another leap in strength. Not to mention other benefits. Right now I'm so focused that sweat has already built up on my forehead. Looking at my right hand, I try to change just what I want. Mantis shrimp. The little animal that can punch like a bullet. And if we bring this power to the human level, try to change my muscles and joints in the biological springs, latches, and levers that the mantis shrimp uses to punch, I fail again. Making only small changes are too hard. Huff, truly my hardest power to use, I sigh, before trying again. The main problem is because my Beast Boy card is the Teen Titans version. A young and inexperienced Beast Boy, full of untapped potential, so I will not gain any practice or experience from him. I already proved that I can go beyond what my templates have accomplished when I unlocked my own type of observation haki. I just have to do this the hard way. Probably will be easier when I achieve 100% assimilation with Beast Boy, but there's no problem in training right now. The percentage is going up fast while I train either way. I already did something simple like making scales cover my arm and make gills while still a human. But changing such specific and in turn parts of a crustacean on top of that, which has biology so different from mine, it's very difficult. Another thing that I tried is making something of an animal appear in a different part of my body. Like making a wasp sting appear at my fingertips, or changing my tongue into a tentacle of a blue-ringed octopus. I'm just being able to hold the change for a few seconds. Might be useful in the future, like making the hole where spider webs come out on my wrist, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Instead of getting out of my, I'm taking inspiration from a manga from my past life. Terraformars. There are many op animals on Earth. If I can use them to the fullest, I will have many new abilities. Tardigrades and their survival capabilities, the proportional strength of many insects, many poisons, and the many regenerative abilities of the likes of planarians and some starfish. And who knows what type of dangerous beasts have walked the earth in the past? We see fossils of dinosaurs, mammoths, and saber-toothed tigers, but it's the insects and other small animals that are truly op. After 1 hour more of practice I decided to stop. Today I should finish the assimilation of Luther Strode and Beast Boy. I will try later. Luther give me some very good control of my body, will be a boon. Buzz, I patiently wait for the MRI machine to finish the scans. Okay, sir. All done. We finished your list too. One of my bots informs me as I get taken out of the scans. After that, I revert to my normal body. I was 100% miles during the process. I'm changing myself in all my alt forms and then making scans, exams, and checking my genetic code to see the changes. To see if I gain another organ or something like that. I will continue to do this in the future. Like when I get Dark Danny Ghost Physiology. Knowing yourself is half of the needed to always win your battles. I paraphrase Sun Tzu. I'm very curious to check my brain activity in these alternative forms. I want to see if changes anything. Honestly, it probably doesn't change much. Some things simply don't make much sense. Maybe it's just how power works. Good powers will protect the user. For example, when I change into animals, my brain remains normal. Very strange. Funny that I can't speak because of the change in my vocal cords, but my mind is mostly unaffected. Except for the small influence of animal instincts. Something like that shouldn't be possible. How do I maintain the same level and intelligence if I transform into a bird? I think there's a realistic take on this power in The Boys Diabolical. The guy transforms into a gorilla to fight, but when he transforms he simply forgets about everything and is left with a gorilla mind. Some powers just work. Like invisibility. The way that deflects light particles to prevent the user from being seen while at the same time allowing the user to see. I sigh again. In my last world, something like that shouldn't be possible. But again, it just works. Like King Crimson. Sir, Busujima-san is waiting for you outside. The bot tell me. What time is in New York? 0816. The bot answered like an astronaut. By the way, I need to ask for the time in New York because if not they will give me the time based on the Greenwich line, which is the standard used by people in space stations. I walk out of the exam room and come face to face with Psycho. Good morning. Are you hungry? I ask. Good morning. A little, yes. She answers. And I feel like one of those people that forgot to feed and give blankets to their friends during sleepovers. Let's go to the cafeteria. I say, leading the way. I didn't get a chance to show you everything here, right? I ask and she nods. Yesterday she is very impressed to be in space. Normal, I guess, and made me think. Damn, I'm in space. In my last life only astronauts, the elite of humanity, people who need great physical and mental conditioning, could be here where I am. And I will go much far. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity, even with the danger of dying at any second. My spar yesterday with Psycho ended as expected. I gave her a beating, even equalizing my status with hers. But it was a good fight. Psycho is better than I expected. She learned and adapted quickly. Her assimilation progressed to 50% during the half-hour spar. I thought of teaching her haki like I did Kana, but I don't want to overwhelm her too much for now. I gave her some interesting powers to bring her to the superhuman status. Just some minor enhancements to her physical strength and a copy of Overclock, one of my trump quirks, but I think if combined with an IAI technique can create a very strong combo. So, tomorrow you will start a new life as a transfer student. Nervous. I make small talk while we both eat. She smiles at me. Not at all. Almost. People would be worried and make a good first impression or something. Fufu. I will just be myself. Is the only way that I will act. The impression part depends on others and I can't control this. She says with a calm gaze. Good mindset. You should write a self-help book. I say, making her laugh. Almost everything that she said is true, I can tell. Except for the beginning. She will not be herself. Her true self can't be accepted by the modern world. Is what she thinks. I decide not to comment on it for now. I will solve this darkness of her at later date. After this, we talked about ourselves. She says that is just her and her father in her last life, and she does not know her father's whereabouts when everything went to shit. She gave me more details about the zombie apocalypse. She never met the main cast, and she was very well by herself. Till a certain idiot that she met fired a gun, blowing up a gas station and attracting a fair amount of zombies. Her boken, which was already worn out, ended up breaking and she was overwhelmed by more than 50 zombies. In the end, she committed suicide using the broken and pointy part of her wooden sword to pierce her throat. Well, she is a badass. Exactly like I imagine what a samurai would be like. She is a national champion in Kendo too. Zombies shouldn't have been the end for her if it wasn't for her high school girl stamina. Too bad. I'm really curious to see how far she can go with the proper power UPS and opportunities. I talked a little about myself too, nothing much. And this made me think that maybe I should reveal even less personal information to the other summons. Especially the bad guys. Psycho is okay, she is the first international agent, so she will be in my inner circle eventually, but the others, I will treat them differently. Equity, you know? treat people differently based on their differences. Humming to myself, I watch the dozen serums vials being filled and mixed in the lab. Simulations run on my computer, but I'm very confident that this serum is at least 5 times more effective than the serum I made at BNHA World. The capacity to bring a person to peak human level of Erskine Super Soldier Serum is a great boon to my own creation. Honestly, I would rather wait to win some more formulas and projects from the world of Marvel to perfect my serum, like the Extremis, Virus, Centipede Project, and even Luke Cage Power. My own serum uses my blood to give a person high adaptability, especially to their own powers. Erskine Serum gives peak human capabilities. Extremis give incredible healing factor. Luke Cage's power, which comes from the formula of Dr. Noah Burstein, gives invulnerability. Is just really durable skin. I want a serum that can give everything. Is an unreachable objective for now, but one day I will make this serum affordable to everyone. When I am in power, where I can control the world enough to be sure that this won't be misused. First, distribute to my own metanation, as a test. Everyone will be better. And then I expand. Sincerely, the potential of the Super Soldier Serum goes much beyond military purposes. The serum can make humans better, jump steps in our evolution, and bring us closer to the other races in the universe. Honestly, I think all races at some point have developed a Super Soldier Serum in their history. I think Thanos himself is full of genetic enhancements and cybernetics augmentations. The comic version at least. The MCU downgraded how smart he really is. And he is not that cool too. With that holy warrior vibe in a crusade to make a better universe. He is just Marvel's biggest simp. Unfortunately, he is a dangerous simp. Sigh, I really need to know what's happening in the universe. Maybe Thor has a way to get intergalactic news. I will ask him next time. I decided to do the summons already. Right now is truly the best time to bring these guys. With the exception of Edna, she can be considered a little special, so I will summon her later, to not bring her together with this bad batch. I head to the training room again. Psycho and Cathalhua have followed me and are by my side as I customize the background of the ones that need it. Hehe. I have some plans for them. Clicking in confirm, I summon Erwin, Saul, Armstrong, Uvijin, Rob Lucci, and Yuan. All together. Only the first 3 with backgrounds. I keep standing waiting for them to appear. Cathalhua at my feet and Psycho a little behind me. The familiar scenes of them being formed by motes of lights take place. Psycho looks closely, being the first time she sees from this perspective. By the way, Shago had asked to be present when I did the next summon. Now is too late. I didn't expect useful summons to come, and now is the best time. I can't wait. The 6 of them appear. Their appearances are exactly as expected. With the exception of Erwin, Saul, and Armstrong, I customized their background to make them younger. The 3 of them are in their mid-20s. Because when I went to create Armstrong's background, I realized that I can't make him a senator right away. It seems that the reality warper power from the essence has a limit about affecting too many people. So Armstrong and the others are just people who have just graduated from college and will start climbing into their position from the start. Well, with my help, and their talents will be fast. They already has the experience. Everyone has different reactions to their sudden appearances. Erwin, the tall blonde man, looks around for a bit before he notices me and doesn't shift his gaze anymore. His posture is straight and his face is serious. Saul is the most flustered with the whole ordeal of changing universes, frantically looking around. Honestly, he's the first summon to show so much surprise. Well, he's the normal reaction, right? He is exactly like in the show, just younger. Without wrinkles and with a head full of hair. You're welcome. Not Senator Armstrong also only looks younger. He is the same fucking mountain of muscles with a friendly smile on his face. He is just standing there, pun intended, calmly. Now to the people who didn't receive the background. Uvijin is a tanned and brawny man, full of hair on his body and head. His hair looks like a mane. He looks like a brute and is exactly what he is. He also looked around for a bit till he saw me. Maybe his battle instincts are warning him because he's looking at me pretty seriously. Rob Lucci is using the full white 3-piece suit from the CP0 and oh looks, is his pigeon. He's using a top hat and a tie too. Hehe. Cute. As I think about it, Rob Lucci kneels down to me. Okay, awkward. I think is part of his soldier mentality, right? You can rise. I say calmly. The rest of the people look at me with measuring eyes. Ugh, Yuan, don't smile at me. You give me the creeps. Yuan looks like a truly harmless handsome young man, with a gentle face, and calm smile. But his eyes. No wonder people say that the eyes are the window to the soul, his true nature is leaking out through his dead eyes. I feel I've seen enough and I decide to start talking. You know, will be a bother talk with you guys and explain everything, so I start uploading knowledge about this world to them using my telepathy. Very basic and easy to understand because of Yuvijin, Rob Lucci, and Erwin, who are from very different worlds from here. All of them groan in discomfort as they adapt to their new memories. My name is Hector, just so you guys know. But don't talk about me out loud ever. Call me boss, leader or whatever. But don't use my name when talking about me. All information that I give them is about the world. Nothing about me. No way in hell I'm giving information about myself to them, especially Yuan. With time they should discover on their own. But like this, the bond relationship will go up. Stonks. I start to circle them. These guys will need a different approach from the girls. I wonder if anyone will give themselves for me to use as an example. Power play is always useful in this new subordinate scenario. I know about you guys. I can begin by saying that no one in this room, with exception of the lady over here, is a good person. Including me, I say, looking at them one by one. Obviously, there are various degrees of bad. Some of you just receive cruel orders. I look at Lucci. Some of you gave cruel orders. My gaze goes to Erwin. But I can say for sure that all of you guys are willing to dirt your hands, right? And you guys are very good at that too. I stop in front of them again. And this is exactly what I need you all for. I have an objective. Bring a change to this world. I say, gesturing to the window that shows Earth. The curtains open, revealing the scenario of space and Earth. This time all of them show surprised faces. None of them were ever in space before. To the ones that don't know, I look at Erwin. He is the one who is the most behind. That is our planet. We are in space and I will take you guys to live your lives there later. Everyone with his own mission. I will not give details now. I believe that all of you know the importance of compartmentalization. You guys just need to follow the orders. Don't worry that I'm not a bad employer. In no time you will all see the benefits. Money, a long and healthy life, power, true power. I put emphasis on the last part. In most of the cases you guys can live normally and freely, but following certain rules that I will quote in the future. If you guys search in your memories you will see that you have a very comfortable life in this world already. You're welcome, I said to the trio with the background. And the rest, I thought that you all would prefer the anonymity, but I will give money to start a life from zero. I speak, turning to the ones who are actually going to act on the villain side. Any questions before I continue? Erwin raises his hand and starts talking when I give permission. I have a request. He says. Oh, keep going. You give us knowledge about the Omniverse. Your power can manipulate it a little, right? Is it possible to go to my universe? I have an unfinished mission there. He says. That's a first. Everyone that I summoned doesn't have a huge attachment with their former universe. Erwin really has a huge sense of responsibility, huh? And maybe he's curious. He died before reaching Aaron's basement. He wants to know the truth. I can use that. Well, I know everything about your world, Erwin. All the secrets. Do you want me to tell you? I ask, making him widen his eyes. Let's do it like this. I start before he responds. In the future, I plan to visit your world. Don't know when, but if you do a good job, I will take you with me to take care of your regrets. If you want to know about the basement and the secrets of the Titans, I can tell you now, I say. He pauses for a long time. Now I'm curious, maybe helping with his regret will increase the bond relationship faster. It's good to give him a reward too, and is not like I will lose anything going to his world. The Ackerman bloodline is something that I'm eager to study. And that crystal thing is also a fuel. All right, I will do my best. I hope that you won't forget about this promise. He says before relaxing. I shrug my shoulders. What is he gonna do if I go back in my word? I don't even specify what he needs to do, or how long will take to travel to his world. All the cards are in my hand. If it is like that, I would like to go back to my world too and kill the chain bastard that killed me. Yuvijin said, suddenly making me look at him. No, I say simply. I think I just found the example. Come on, give me the opportunity. You're the most short-tempered in the room. What? Why this your bastard dash oh nice. Internally I smile. But my face grows cold and I release my house hoku haki. I was expecting this. So easy to manipulate these guys when I know everything about them. Third-person POV instant pressure affects everyone. Obviously, Hector holds back when using haki against some people, like Psycho or Saul. But everyone can feel that their life is not in their hands anymore. Hector has enough control to give pressure on different levels. Just enough for everyone to stay conscious. Hector looks downright pissed after hearing Yuvajin talk. Faster than anyone could see he attacks Yuvajin. Using his right hand he presses Yuvajin's face to the ground. A 1-meter-wide crater appears around Yuvajin's head. Are you forgetting who you're talking to? Hector asks with an eerie calm voice. His eyes blazing with power. I brought you into this world. I have all the right to do the opposite. Is Hector overreacting? Maybe. But like he said, none of these guys here are saints. Hector doesn't treat people with equality, but with equity. These people need a little tough love to be put in their places. Better prevent now, than need to correct some wild behavior later. If I say no, is no. You don't question me, Yuvajin. But I will explain myself this once. Hector says, not letting Yuvajin raise his head. Erwin there asked me to go back to help his comrades, fight for his people. You want some petty vengeance against a well-deserved punishment, you genocide maniac. You fight a 1v1, and you lose. Deal with it. After taking so many lives, why are you don't accepting your own demise, Strangely Hector sees Yuvajin bond relationship go to 2/10. Maybe Yuvajin is one of these guys who respect strength above all else. Finally letting go of Yuvajin's head, Hector straightens up and looks around. Let me take things clear. I know that you guys have killed, scammed, tricked, and toyed with people's lives. And I want you all because of this. But Hector's eyes grow cold again and haki is again released from his body. I have a bottom line. We don't touch normal and innocent people, he says with purpose. I don't care if you guys use murderers, pedos, or rapists to sate your urges. But if any of you touch a single hair of someone innocent. He didn't finish because there was no need. Someone more attentive would notice that Hector appears to be talking directly with Yuan, although his words are to everyone. The pressure suddenly vanishes and Hector takes on a friendly expression. That said, working to me has plenty of benefits. You guys will be very happy. He smiles. His change is so abrupt that he sends a shiver through the less hardened summons. But before I give your guys my blessing, Yuvajin. Yes. Do you know how to awaken the Nin in someone? Hector asks suddenly. Never taught anyone. This is Yuvajin's reply. I see. So punch me. Hector says smiling. What the fuck? Is this some kind of trap? Yuvajin thinks warily. Everyone else also makes strange faces too. What's the problem? Chickening out. Hector mocks with a smug smile. Your little dash Yuvajin starts off irritably before stopping as he remembers what happened a minute ago. Just punch me to try to awaken my Nin. Hector says. Isn't that simple, you know? The masters infuse someone with Nin carefully to open the Nin nodes. Yuvajin speaks. The rest of the people in the training room don't understand the conversation. Yes, this is the safe method within the dangerous method. Just punch me with your Nin already, your pussy. Don't you want to take revenge against me because I cleaned the floor with your ugly face? Hector mocks again. You can see the veils pulsing in Yuvajin's forehead and neck. I will show you, he says through gritted teeth. All of you, take some steps back. Hector warns and everyone obeys, Psycho giving Hector a worried look. Nin. The power system from the Hunter x Hunter world. The technique that allows the user to manipulate their life energy, aura. Similar to Ki or Chi, but more versatile. Everyone has life energy, aura, but only Nin masters can manipulate it freely and have it in great amounts. In the world of HXH, there are two ways to awaken Nin. To open the Nin nodes, it is necessary for arduous training and meditation or, like Gon and Killua did, having the help of an Nin user to open their Nin nodes and by inserting their own aura in the target body. Some people awaken Nin without even trying. Generally, people with Nin are from the special type. As Yuvajin said, this fast method of learning Nin is a dangerous process. But different from what he believes, it is not necessary to have good control over Nin to awaken someone's abilities. In the Chimera Ant arc, the Chimera ants began to awaken Nen after being attacked by Nen users. And then they used the crude method of punching each other to awaken the Nen. This method has a survival rate of 10%. The main plot is even a huge selection where they would make thousands of new Nen users to be soldiers and food by this selection process. That is, it is possible to awaken Nen by being punched by someone with Nen. Yuvajin doesn't know it because a normal person would normally don't survive the attack. Chimera ants have sturdy bodies to survive the attack. And Hector has too. And the aura that is the fuel to the Nen is not some special power of the HXH universe. Is life energy. Everyone has it. So there's a huge chance that Hector could awaken Nen by being punched by Yuvajin. This is one of the reasons he summoned Yuvajin. Yuvajin doesn't have a special technique that Hector covets, he is an enhancer that punches people. Simple as that. If he is Netero, Miruem or another with an of special type or with a huge amount of experience, Hector would have assimilated him. Yuvajin stops in front of Hector and prepares to strike. Hector narrows his eyes seeing Yuvajin's action. First of all, he is using his left hand and doesn't appear to go all out. Is he holding back on his own? This looks a little out of character. Is the influence of the essence? Hector muses to himself. Yuvajin prepares and punches Hector in his right chest. Boom, a little shockwave spread but Hector remain unmoved. Looking almost contemptuously at Yuvajin's fist resting on his chest, Hector says, "Seriously? Did you not eat breakfast? If this is all that you can do I will be very disappointed," he says, with a bored face before putting his hands in his pockets. Hector had planned to defend himself with haki and other powers secretly as a show of power, but it is totally unnecessary for him to put effort against this weak punch. Okay then, Yuvajin says before clenching his right fist. No one can see, but a great amount of aura is being emitted from his fist. Hector's eyes change, and blue covers all of his pupils and his sclera. Clock engine patterns that form some sort of magic circles appear in his eyes. Oh, I can see now. Like steam. So this is his aura. Hector takes a closer look at how Yuvajin moves his aura inside and outside his body. This must be Ken, one of the advanced Nen techniques. While Hector thinks about it, Yuvajin punches him again. Boom, a much louder sound is emitted this time, but again Hector doesn't even move a millimeter. Ha, this isn't gonna work. Try again. Full strength. I will make myself the weakest possible, like a baby. Hector says with a sigh, no wonder you got your ass kicked by the chain bastard. Did you know that he took a shovel to the duel because he knew that he would need it to bury you? Hector adds. This seems to do the trick. Because Yuvajin looks really pissed now. The aura emitted by his body even makes the weakest members give a step back. Hector can see with his all-seeing eyes of God that the aura that was previously transparent white became crimson in color. Did change with his mood, or is this just him going all out? Does everyone have different colors? I remember that Netero and Gon's aura is golden, right? Well, when Gon goes to kill Pito his aura became black, or this is just an anime thing. Hector distracts himself while Yuvajin accumulates Nen in his first. A KO now, huh? Fucking finally. Hector recognizes another of the advanced Nen techniques. Nen is one of Hector's favorite power systems in the anime omniverse. Aura manipulation is nothing new in any manga of battles. But Togashi-sensei explains very well the in and outs of how people use Nen. Info dump ahead. Nen has 4 basic techniques that anyone needs to know to be considered a Nen user, and 7 advanced techniques that are variations and combinations of the basic techniques. The 4 basic techniques are Ten, Zetsu, Ren and Hatsu. First of all, it's important to know that everyone has aura/life energy, and this energy is constantly escaping our bodies and eventually, we will run out of life energy and pass away. 10. The first basic technique allows the Nen user to hold his aura more tightly, enveloping his body in a protective layer of aura. Gon and Killua stated that it's like being enveloped in a very impact-resistant jelly, and is because of this control that many Nen users have long lives. Zetsu, the second technique, is even more extreme. The Nen user closes all his Nen pores, don't allowing his aura to leave his body, is a technique used to erase his presence. The downside is that the user becomes very vulnerable without any aura to protect himself. And Ren is the complete opposite of Zetsu. The Nen user emits his aura frantically, allowing his body to grow significantly in strength. But is a very tiring process. Hatsu is very unique. Is the unique way that all Nen users release their aura. In simple words, the non-user secret techniques. And this is something that made this power system interesting. In many fictions, some people receive their powers naturally, and conveniently these powers are a good fit for them. A guy good with a sword awakens a convenient power that uses the sword. One Piece like to subvert these expectations and going in the opposite direction of these cliques. It is common to see people that can't use their powers properly for several reasons. In the case of Nen, you create your own technique. And the strength of the technique depends on a few factors, but one of the most important is the compatibility with the user's personality, like a hobby or some talent, or even some life experience. The more the user likes the technique itself, the stronger it will be. A clever way to give people powers compatible with their personalities. Now about the advanced techniques, they're basically a specific use of a basic technique or a combination of the two of them. The advanced techniques are Shu, In, Gyo, En, Ko, Ken and Ryu. Shu is someone using Nen, an object, enhancing the said object. Very common in fiction. Busashoku Haki can do something similar. In is a better zetsu. The user masks his aura, allowing it to go undetected without the need to become vulnerable. But there's a weakness. The Gyo, that is the act of concentrating most of the aura in a part of the body, enhancing greatly this body part capability. A special use of concentrating aura in the eyes allows the non-user to see auras hidden by the eye and attention to the word most. The user doesn't concentrate all of his aura in a part of his body with Gyo, because this act will let the rest of his body unprotected. And this is another advanced technique. The Ko. Very risky. Concentrate 100% of his aura in a body part. The Ryu corrects it. A master of Ryu can freely control the aura of his body, putting different amounts in different body parts depending on the need. Like putting a huge amount in the arm that is punching and putting another huge amount in the abdomen that will be punched at the same time. Then there's Ken, a combination of Ten and Ren. It is very simple but very exhausting. It is just the use of the Ren constantly and allows a more strong protective layer on the user body. And at last, but not least, En is also the use of Ten and Ren. But En uses the scattered aura to detect everything. Like observation haki. You can imagine the En like that. There is a thin layer of life energy covering everyone, even non-En users. The user of En expands this layer, allowing him to feel and see the vicinities like he is touching with his own hands. Hector previously used En's idea as a basis to train his telepathic field. There are others more unique techniques, like Miruem's unique way to use En. He transforms his aura into small particles and spreads much far instead of just making an En field. Info dump ends. Sorry, but it's important. I don't copy past from any place and try to explain Nen in a less boring way. I think this is better than saying snippets later or letting you guys need to search on your own. Yuvijin focus on his KO. KO is a risky move, but no one will attack him anyway. He pulls his fist back before giving Hector his strongest punch. Big Bang Impact. Oh yes, they have names to super moves too, and in their universe truly make the attack stronger. Anime logic. I'm not proud to admit that I yelled sometimes in the BNHA universe too. Hector thinks calmly as he lowers his defenses. The punch hits Hector square in his chest, making him bend forward slightly. Boom! A huge shockwave spreads in the training room. Hector is sent to the wall, but his feet are still dragging on the ground, making two huge scars on the ground. Boom! Hector hits the wall. Holy fuck! Did he kill him? Now what? Saul Goodman exclaims shocked, still not accustomed to the fact that people like that exist. Hector. Psycho mutters worriedly and starts rushing to help him. But once again a crushing pressure enveloped everyone, making it hard to breathe. What? Monster. Yuvijin mutters in shock, mouth agape. He is the only that knows Hector would survive because he didn't see Hector's aura disappear at any time. But now, even he is scared. The pressure being issued from the hole in the wall is tremendous. Is different from when Hector used House Hoku Haki. If previously Hector's House Hoku Haki is like being very close to a hurricane, with the wind pushing your body backward and with no air going to your lungs. Now is like everyone has fallen into a deep part of the ocean. Like the air is solidifying. Their shoulder feels heavy. It's equally suffocating but in a different way. They can see Hector calmly using his hands to get out of the hole in the wall. A single step that he takes makes the pressure increase. So this is Nen. I'm glad that worked. This anime body is useful. Hector says, analyzing his own hand with his eyes. Aura is life energy. Everyone has it. And it is possible to increase by training. But there are people who are born with different amounts. The Chimera ants are an example. Especially the king and the royal guard. Hector has an infinite lifespan now, thanks to Luther Strode. But this only means that he has an inexhaustible reserve. That doesn't mean that his reserve is already big. His incredibly sturdy body is helping him release insanely large amounts of aura. Hector has the source of all living matter from Attack on Titan 2. That surprisingly will help him increase his aura passively even without effort. He is not even using Ren, but his aura could be comparable with Neferpitou. But this can also be because of the unconventional method of awakening Nin. Many people who survive the baptism perish because they can't control the aura/life energy that crazily escapes their body, eventually exhausting their life energy. After becoming satisfied with his inspection, Hector decides to restrict his aura. 10. He uses it naturally. Then Zetsu. Easier than I thought. Hector considers trying using Ren, but decides against it after seeing everyone panting. Only Rob Lucci and Yuvijin are a little better, but even then looks like they have just fought for their lives. The normal ones are on the ground kneeling and gasping for breath. If I put murderous intent behind my Ren, people will break mentally? Something like that happens in HXH. I will try later. Hector thinks as he slowly approaches everyone. Congratulations, Yuvijin, he says, and then raises his thumb. There's a little smear of blood on his finger. Your attack managed to take a drop of blood from me. Hector finishes with a smile. That's good praise. Even if Yuvijin doesn't know that. Hector even let Yuvijin's aura go rampant in his internal organs because he knew that he can recover easily. But make him cough a drop of blood. Hector is a little impressed. But to Yuvijin and the rest, looks like he is just flexing. What? Surprised that I'm strong? There are many people stronger than me there. Hector says, pointing to the wall showing the space. And you guys can be strong too. I can share my powers with you all. Remember what I said about receiving my blessing, Hector says. If he already showed the stick, it's time for the carrot. First of all, let me give your guys some well-deserved basic protection. Hector says before his eyes become serious. He is concentrating a lot now. Everyone, even Psycho, feels their mind become heavy. A discomfort spreads through their head. Sometime later Hector relaxes and everyone release a sigh of relief that they are not knowing that they are holding. What did you just do? Armstrong asks, while clutching his head and noticing everyone doing the same. I just gave you guys protections against telepaths. Hector says, don't bothering himself with their discomfort. In this world, there are people that can read minds. I assume that you guys wouldn't like that. I too need to protect my secrets, so I set some defenses in your minds. Will defend their minds from everyone but me. Hector thinks internally, like Hector has said, these guys can be problematic. So taking inspiration from many fanfics where Xavier put backdoor in Jean's mind to always probe her memories undetected. Hector did the same. He will check their memories periodically. See what they're doing. Especially Yuan. Although he doesn't want to touch Yuan's mind even with a 10-foot pole, he is too cautious to let Yuan be at his own devices. Sincerely, Hector wants to have minimum contact with him. He will not underestimate Yuan's ability to get under people's skin. Now, is time for the good part. Time to become better. Hector says before extending his hand to Yuvijin's head. He remembers reading about Yuvijin wanting to have a punch as strong as a nuclear bomb. This type of guy who pursues strength is easy to understand and to please. The bond relationship with Yuvijin is already 3. After distributing the adequate powers to his new summons, Hector dismisses everyone. Except you, Erwin. Your world is too much backward, you need some personal guidance. Follow me. Hector says the rest, just follow the bots to your rooms. There are some things like money, tech devices, and others things to help you guys. Unfortunately, till the serum is completed, Hector can't give all the powers that he wants. Personally, he wants everyone at least Spider-Man strong, with a great healing factor, and then with adequate powers depending on the summon's capabilities and talents. Armstrong. Later I will call for you. I want to study your nanomachines. Hector says to the muscly man. You're the boss, boss. Armstrong gives a salute and a nod. His smile never changing. What a friendly fella to a final boss. Follow me, Erwin. We have so little time, he says before leading the way. Helena POV passing through the portal. I am finally home. I mean, Hector's home. Mine is another, that I will need to move today. But I think I will always consider Hector's house my home. Walking through the room in Isabella's Infinity Castle Power or whatever, I reach the door to the house. Putting the password, and then putting my digits and retinue, I finally have access to the real house. Paranoid. Typical Batman. It appears that Isabella can make a room that connects two places not very far. So using a room as a medium is possible to connect my and Shago's house to this place. So as Hector says, is not like we won't see each other more often. I'm just a portal away. Groaning. And putting my bags down, I relax. Okay, that's a relaxing trip, but it's always good to come back. Coming downstairs, I hear Isabella finally arrive behind me, but I don't care. Going to the living room, I see Hector in his chair. Oh, you two are back already? Welcome. He says smiling. You girls look beautiful by the way, and I thought that it is impossible already. He adds. Heh. Shago will love hearing this. I say new pet. I ask, seeing that he is holding a turtle in his lap. The turtle has a gap on his shell in the format of a key. Knowing Hector and Cathalhu, this can't be a normal turtle. Yes, meet Gamera. Hehe. I could name him. I'm surprised, you know. He says. I don't understand the last part, but it appears that he named the turtle after that monster that fights Godzilla. Where is Shago? He asks. I notice something. There's a board game on the table in his front and there's another chair. A visit? No, impossible. A new companion. She is a little late because she annoyed Isabella. So Isabella is not transporting her heavy bags from her. I leave with a smile. Annoyed Isabella? How? Hector asks, confused. Ha. She loudly declares in a certain shop. Look. Isabella, this is so you, while showing a very skimpy French-made outfit. Everyone in the shop started looking at Isabella strangely after that. Hector laughs out loud. Haha, yeah, I think she deserved it. That clothes have less fabric than napkins. Isabella said at my side. At this moment a woman, a teenager, appears from the kitchen holding a trail with 2 cups. She has purple hair and eyes, and Asian features. So I was right. I look at her and wait for Hector to introduce us. Meet Busujima Psycho. Psycho, meet Helena and Isabella. Our new companion, just like you two. We are playing shogi before you guys arrived. Hector says. The teenager, Busujima, put down the trail that contained tea and give us a bow. A pleasure to meet you too. Hector-san talked a lot about you all. She says. Politely. Likewise. I say, and Isabella bows too. I'm still observing her carefully. It's not because I trust Hector now that I will trust everyone that he brings with his power. So you are really bringing other people, huh? Any interesting new power too? I ask. Well, I can do this now. Hector says while opening his arm like a cyborg, showing a high-tech weapon underneath it. Sanuva bitch? I knew that you were too perfect to be real? So you are a fucking robot. And this is Shago arriving like Shago. She is holding many bags that she just drops on the ground. Where can I order some more of you? I want 20. She says as she approaches Hector. Welcome back, Shago. And no, I'm not a robot, this is just a technorganic power if you want to know. Hector calmly explains, and you can't handle 20 of me. You can't even handle 1 of me. Hector says, smirking and raising one eyebrow. Wanna bet? Shago says, sitting on Hector's lap like is the most natural thing in the world. Hector remains unaffected as always. And who the fuck are you? Shago says hostilely, turning to Busujima while still sitting on Hector's thighs. She even reclines herself on him, making him his chair. Shameless cougar. Nice to meet you. You must be Shago-san. Hector talked a lot about you. My name is Busujima Psycho. Busujima says politely and bows again. Oh, talked? Talked what exactly? She asks, turning her face to look at Hector, her face very close to his face and neck. He said that you're a precious companion and friend. Busujima says, smiling. Oh, he said that? But he said that I'm only a friend? In truth, we are more than that? Shago lies easily. You're smelling good. New perfume. Shago asks abruptly while she goes even closer, sniffing Hector's neck. Hector gets serious. Are you feeling something strange? He asks. No, why? Shago asks. Hector hesitates for a second before answering. I received a new power package. And one of the side effects is pheromones that make me irresistible to the female gender. Hector says, making quotation marks with his fingers. I'm suppressing them, but it appears that is not enough. He finished a little unsure. I'm glad that he comes clean with us. I like Hector's honesty, and sincerely, I've seen worst powers that make me much more uncomfortable, like X-ray vision and telepathy. But I was never worried that Superman would check out my titties. In the end, it's all about the user. Sniff. No, I'm not feeling any irresistible urge. You just smell good, Shago says after checking. I'm glad. This power is more trouble than it is worth. Hector sighs. And your guys don't look as disgusted as I expect with my reveal, he said, looking at me. I've seen worse, I say, simply shrugging my shoulders. Wait, I'm feeling something, Shago says, suddenly making Hector's face look serious. I'm all hot and bothered. Hector, you need to take responsibility, she says, moaning and panting while she turns to mount him. You're lying, I can tell, Hector says simply before phasing through Shago, letting her fall face first on the chair. So is just your normal horniness. I think there's no cure for that, unfortunately, I say, and Shago gives me the middle finger. Tisk. I shouldn't have said the truth so early. Shago pouts. Yeah, a mistake on her part. But she probably felt that Hector is bothered by this whole pheromones thing, and she wants to assure him. In the end, she cares about him too, is not just her horniness. And you're Mr. She points at Hector. You promised that I would be present the next time that you would bring people here. I bet that there are other women too. You lecher, I have seen through your harem plan already, she says accusingly. Well, first of all, most people are male this time, and I decided at the moment to bring them now to take advantage of the momentary chaos on New York, he says, shrugging. And you don't want to meet the rest anyway. Except for Edna, that you will meet later. Why not? I ask. Hector doesn't respond, but I hear a ping coming from my smartphone. I sent the information about them to you guys. He does not even touch his smartphone. New power too? I look at the info. Or our new friends. Uvagen. Crimes, mass murder, assault, cannibalism, and theft. I read out loud and then look at Hector. Yuan Liebert. Crimes. What the fuck? Why is this guy not dead again? I ask Hector with a little of heat in my voice. He shrugs his shoulder. As I say, I don't choose who I can bring. But you can choose to bring him or not. Yes, and I bring him because he is useful, he interrupts before I continue. And expendable. Relax, Helena, he is in the palm of my hand and will never escape. You share my philosophy. That is impossible to eradicate crime on Earth. So he is useful to control crime. Bring back that old school mafia that has boundaries and limits. But this guy, I start. If he steps out of line, I will kill him. Hector interrupts me again, and I swallow the words I was about to say. Hector is dead cold serious now. His eyes were sharp and his tone of voice leaves no room to the discussion. I have no attachment to Yuan. He is not like your guys. I will not hesitate to separate his head from his shoulders if he does something against my orders. And I've already left strict orders of what he can't do. Hector says it with finality, and there's nothing more I can say. He can do that too. I almost forgot, because Hector is nice to us, but he can end us at any time. It's a sobering revelation, but I have no reason to think that he will use his control over me to do something bad. He hasn't done anything so far. Okay, I trust you. I say thank you. He smiles. By the way, these profiles. You have one from us too? Shago asks while skimming through the new people's information. No, there's no need. I will only do this to the new people now, so you know who you're dealing with. The three of you are a little special for being the first ones. Owned, I'm special. Shago smiles before throwing herself at Hector again. I can only roll my eyes at her antics. You're scaring the newbie. Sniff, they grow up so fast. Hector fake cries while he sees us off. From now on we will no longer live together. Look at your guys, already moving out. He continues. I can only roll my eyes to him. I don't know, but he looks more funny. Maybe he's finally being himself with us. Like me, I think he is very cautious of us in the beginning, and now he is lowering his almost impregnable guard. Oh, acting like a parent. Do you want me to call you daddy too? Shago says, catching him off guard. Better not, yet, he answers. Oh, so at some point and then they start their thing. They're back and forth. Get a room already, you two? You are already moving out too? I ask the Japanese girl. Yes, I have school. She answers. Sucks to be you. Shago says, remember to use the special cell phone or the Palantir to call, Psycho-san. Hector says, we finally said goodbye. Now we won't see each other that often. That is what I'm thinking. Third person POV. Next day. Hector comes home after another boring day in school. When he arrives in the living room, he sighs. I know I said you guys could visit at any time, but isn't it a little too soon? He asks Shago, who is lying on her stomach on the couch while she uses her smartphone. What? I'm a guest now. Treat me better. You're a horrible host. Geez. She says simply. I thought that you guys would enjoy your new freedom. Helena emerges from the kitchen and speaks. We are bored. Hector can only sigh. You guys know that Hector can't know Shago and Helena, right? He asks while sitting in his chair. Yeah. We used the portal. We are not coming here from the front door. Shago answers. What are you watching? Helena asks Shago. A tutorial on how to make Eidolon's hairstyle. Yeah, there are many people with goatees nowadays, because of Stark. Helena speaks. People already start copying the heroes. Celebrity worship is sick enough. Now that there are literal superheroes, things can go very crazy. Hector says, remembering some weird shit that he saw about himself on the internet. Like a goth woman who tattooed Eidolon personal own a hole above her ass. He doesn't know if he should feel flattered or freaked out. Yeah, check this out. Shago says before starting reading something. Thor trembles when he looks at women now, his throat dry and his muscles tense. And he only finds solace in Eidolon arms. The trauma of the battle in New York changed the Thunder God forever. He doesn't trust people of the opposite gender anymore. Only the one that released him of the clutches of the evil witch could reach his heart. Shago tries to continue, but then she starts laughing uncontrollably while clutching her stomach. But what the actual fuck is this abomination? Hector asks with his mouth agape. It's a fanfic? Haha, Shago answers while laughing. Love, thunder, and power. The love story about a broken god that now has a phobia of women and the mutant outcast. They find solace in each other's arms. Hahaha, Shago is out of breath now. Oh god, I'm gonna die from laughing. That's it. I've seen enough. I'm destroying humanity now. There's no hope. This is my villain origin backstory. Hector says, still shocked. He is seriously thinking of joining forces with Ultron now. Ha, this is nothing. Wait for the fanarts to appear. Helena says with a distant look and a frown on her lips. They're already fanarts too. Haha, Shago says suddenly before she starts to type in her smartphone. Look at this. She says, showing the screen. Ugh. Me and Cap. Hector says disgustedly. There are some interesting ones too. Look. Seago shows another. But now is from her and Hector. It looks like the theme is BDSM, because Lady Jade is on her knees choking in Eidolon's dick while mascara runs through her face. Eidolon is holding her by a leash and Lady Jade's hands are tied behind her back. Hector can only facepalm. So it begins. The price of fame, I guess. Helena says, looking at the drawing. Is this that common in your former world? Shago asks. Yeah, there's a superheroine that has it worse. Power Girl, Helena says, remembering her past life. Well, dressing in a one-piece swimsuit with a boob widow attracts the wrong type of attention. Hector says next. Yeah, I never understood her choice of clothing. Helena says. Looks who is talking. You left your ABS bare to the world. Shago accuses Helena. Excuse me, is not everyone that can use unstable molecule fabric to their clothes? Do you know how hot is using my former suit? If I need to let some part bare to breathe, much better being my stomach. Helen defends herself. Fair enough, Shago shrugs. Master Hector, I would like to ask to not make a public appearance. Never. Isabella adds with a strange face. Hector can only sigh. Yes, Isabella. Relax, I will not force you to do anything. Damn, there's really a lot of superhero porn already. Shago says while scrolling through her smartphone. Look at this. She shows them. Hector's facepalm again. Why me and Susan Storm? We have exactly one interaction with each other. He asks after seeing a blonde woman using the Fantastic Four costume while bouncing on a guy using his own suit. Who knows? There's some drawing of me and Hulk, and I bet that is just because we are both green. Shago says. Now I don't know what is worst. Porn parodies about me or the girls. I never thought that I would say this, but fuck you, Rule 34, Hector thinks. And why Alexis Texas is Susan Storm? Hector asks, murmurs to himself. And he realized that is the wrong thing to say just after the words left his mouth. Everyone starts staring at him. Shago, Helen, Isabella. I mean, who is this lady so proficient in the ways of human reproduction? He asks with a robotic voice. Shago only narrow her eyes to him. You're surprisingly nice to the invisible woman that day, she says. What? Do you want me to punch her for just blocking my path? Chill. Hector defends himself. I've seen your mother's pictures by the house, she continues. And? Hector asks before taking a sip of his drink. Blonde with blue eyes. Did you have an Oedipus complex? He spats on the floor, but stops the liquid telekinetically and cleans everything. Hell no? Gross. Hey, just asking. Nope. Ugh. Well, theoretically everyone has a little of the Oedipus complex because their father and mother are the basis of the ideal person from the opposite gender. But no, I don't have an Oedipus complex. And the fact that Susan Storm looks a little like my mother means nothing to me. Hector starts before answering calmly. Ugh, now you destroyed my chances with her and Emma Frost. And Carol Danvers. Hector shudders while retreating to his room. The three girls look at each other. Shago smile. Smart. Helena compliments. There's too much competition. Shago answers. But who are the other two? I need to check. So many rivals, Shago says before going out to check on Hector's database. Japan, this is the new transfer student. Please, present yourself to the class. The teacher says to Psycho. Mine me is Busujima Psycho. Please take good care of me. Psycho gives a deep bow. Her beautiful appearance of her attracts the attention of the boys and some girls. The other girls are jealous and hostile toward her already. Right now she has black hair and eyes, thanks to the little pendant that Hector has given to her. Funnily enough, she thinks it's strange that everyone has black hair. To her, the great variety of colors is the norm. Hector's instructions are just to live and inform him of anything strange. As a coincidence, a girl called Hisaki Ichiko is in the same class as Psycho. New York Police Department. This is Captain George Stacy, asks Officer Mahoney. Captain, this is the new guy, Erwin Smith. The officer says, passing some papers to the captain. Checking the papers, George Stacy can see that Erwin Smith has high qualifications. Passing with flying colors in the academy is only natural. In the world of Attack on Titan, Erwin only loses to Armin in intelligence. With a high IQ is easy to Hector customize a good background for Erwin. You're German? George Stacy asks, looking at the 6 feet 2 inches blonde man. Naturalized American, Captain. Erwin gives a salute. I see. Your help will be appreciated, Smith. But New York is going through rough times. Are you sure that you are fit to the job? The captain asks. I will do my best, Erwin replies confidently. Is a good beginning. Welcome to the New York Police Force. The two shake hands. Thank you, sir. I will not disappoint. Senator Stern looks at his new assistant. He is a huge man full of muscle. What's your name again? Stephen Armstrong, sir. A pleasure to work for you, Armstrong says amicably, going for a handshake. He holds Senator Stern with his 2 hands, bows a little, and smiles. You're huge, the senator comments. I was a quarterback in college, but after an injury, I devoted myself more to my studies. But I still have a healthy body, Armstrong answers with an easy smile. I've seen your qualifications. Impressive. Hope that you can do good work. The world is a mess with all these superhumans that don't respect our laws appearing. I wholeheartedly agree. No one is above our nation and our laws, sir. Armstrong replies with a smile. I see what you try to do about Stark. Too bad people are riding high in his popularity and don't see the danger in letting one person monopolize that technology. Exactly. And I'm the bad guy? To try to bring our nation above others. Stern says, pleased that someone understands him. When you make the mother of all omelets, you can't fret over every egg. Armstrong shakes his head with a smile. So what, that you're confiscating his weapon? Would not be the same if someone make a nuclear bomb. Yes. Senator Stern looks at Armstrong again. I think I can use someone with your talents and vision, Armstrong. I am honored, sir. Armstrong replies with a friendly smile. Saul Goodman is feeling good. In the beginning, he was with cold feet about this whole superpowered people ordeal. But he is an adaptable man. His last life is not an overly pleasant one. Rarely does someone like him. Everyone thinks that he is an asshole. It bothered him until he realized that he's good at being an asshole, so he embraced this new way of living. And now, someone wants him exactly because he is an asshole. He is hopeful about his new employer. He is younger now, smarter, full of energy, and he even has a shadow of a six-pack underneath his suit. Life is good, but it can be better. Now he has the chance to restart from zero. With his experience, it will be a breeze. It sucks to lose his fame and reputation, is after all one of the most important things to a lawyer, but he can work things out. His new job as a public defender will jumpstart his career. He opens the interrogatory room abruptly. Oh, please step away from my client, officer. Congratulations, Mr. Brown, your savior is here, he says flamboyantly. His job is simple. According to Hector, many criminals have just received an bad hand from the world. A obvious thing, by the way. Not everyone is a criminal by option. So Saul will help these poor souls to have better lives. Now, about the other not so much poor souls. The real motherfuckers. When Saul releases them, he will give his new boss a call. And a certain black-clad hero will catch the criminals again. Is infinity money, baby, let's rock the system, Saul thinks. In an apartment in Hell's Kitchen, a man is trembling after having shot his girlfriend. His mouth is agape and his eyes are wide. His hands lose their strength and he releases his gun. In a dark corner of the room, Yuan Liebert observes the view from the window, without caring about the tragic scene that he himself is responsible for. Walking a little in the dangerous parts of the city, Yuan is mugged. The unlucky robber has no chance. After being defeated and having a little talk with Yuan, somehow the man ended up killing his own girl. HHW? Yuan played with his insecurities. How Yuan knows the mugger's insecurities? Well, Hector gave fucking Yuan Liebert telepathy. Nothing strong, just a beta-level telepathy. Capable of read minds and seeing some memories. Hector is a little curious about how much damage Yuan can do to the criminals with his new power. Yuan is a mad dog. Hector wants him to bite other people. That is the best use of his talents. If one day Yuan bites Hector's hand, there will be no more Yuan. It's okay, Jamal, she deserves it. Yuan's soft voice addresses the young criminal. Jamal had a beautiful girlfriend. A little above his league, and this is the source of his insecurity. Seeing Jamal's memories, Yuan saw how jealous he is of his girlfriend and one of his better-looking homies. A homie that is always very funny when Jamal's girlfriend is present. And she is always laughing with him. After a friendly talk with Yuan, Jamal snapped, and this is the result. Let's search for your friend. Don't worry, I will help you. Yuan puts his hand on Jamal's shoulder. Jamal is a small criminal, but he killed an old couple some months ago, so he is within the limits of what Hector allows. His girlfriend is an accomplice of his criminal activities too, hiding drugs, money, and guns in her apartment from her. And funny enough, the girlfriend is really cheating on Jamal with his friend. But before we go, Jamal, why don't you present me to you, boss? Is it true that he has connections with the Kingpin? I always thought that the Kingpin is an urban legend. Yuan saying, smiling. So, this is the place, huh? Yuvijin asks with his arms crossed while he looks around the underground arena. Yes, on the surface looks just like a bunch of rich people having fun watching superpowered people fighting, but in truth, the Kingpin is using this place to recruit new henchmen. Yuan answers Yuvijin, like many of the rich people here, he is using a mask. Adapting, huh? Yuvijin conclusions. Yes, criminal bosses are not stupid, the ones that are don't last long. How did you find this place so quickly? I asked politely. Some people, Yuan answers, making Yuvijin snort. Criminals already noticed that they can't defeat the heroes by conventional means. And heroes can't be bribed or blackmailed like a normal cop. Now, the criminal bosses, especially Kingpin, are trying to even the playfield. Many maybe are trying to do lab experiments and other means. But one of the ways is through this criminal arena. Huge rewards to the winners, with this they can acquire people without trouble. The fact that people come here is already a testament to their greed. So it should be easier to convince the fighters to work for them. You're next. Hold back a little to not scare the possible employers. But at least show that you can at least deal with Spider-Man. Yuan advises. Okay, looks unbeatable but not scary enough to make these bastards piss their pants. Yes. Even better if you look like a simpleton brute that only cares about money, women, and fighting. Okay. Yuvajin nods. You've worked hard. Already accepting your place under our boss. Trying to be praised as a good boy. Yuvajin tries to provoke his colleague to measure him. Huh. I'm truly curious, is Yuan's reply. Maybe it is because of my lacking of true feelings. But I can feel it clearly. His power changed me. Yuan say I care for him now slightly. Is a novelty. Well, that's good, I think. Yuvajin asks unsure. Yes, Yuan gives a sick smile. I ask myself how I will feel if he dies. Did I will despair? Broke in tears? I'm very curious to feel this. I almost want to make this happen. But something deep in me prevents this. I think if I do this will not have the desired effect. Will be meaningless. Will be such a shame to lose this chance. This is such a good opportunity to feel firsthand what everyone feels in their darkest moments. To finally understand how deep is the abyss of despair. On a side, I want him to succeed in everything and share his joy. But in another hand, I have nothing against seeing him fail. Ho. And if I make him kill me, how will I feel? Is betrayal that painful, Yuvajin? Can I make him like me enough to make him feel bad for killing me? Can I accomplish my perfect suicide by his hands? While burying him in darkness. I want to see and feel those things. Hehe. I'm glad that I come here. Right now Yuan has a large smile on his face. Holy shit, this guy is completely nuts. He is Hisoka level of nutcase. Even myself felt a shiver hearing this bastard talk nonsense. Zeta Space Station, you need to have control over every fiber of your body, Rob Lucci advised. With his arms crossed. Hector is training the Rokushiki. In truth, is not hard for him. He already has very good control of his body and he passes the physical requirements. Tech high Hector becomes rigid, his body like a rock. At high levels, these must become useful. Like Nen, their advanced techniques of Rokushiki, like a long-ranged Shingon, Hector likes to gain powers. And even better if is from different sources. As an example, Hector can teleport. And he has many ways to do it. But he wants to be able to do this in every way. Magically, technologically, by his own power, with an innate power of some race on the future. If someone blocks Hector's magical powers, he can use them from other sources. And so on. Hector doesn't want to have a weakness to be explored or a blind spot. Normally this would be a pipe dream for anyone. People have limited time and talent. But not him. His true potential is that eventually, he will be good at everything. He just needs time. But now with his own efforts, he can shorten this time. Now is Kami. Yes. Yes. This is the body of a god. Edna Mode exclaims dramatically while analyzing Hector's physique. He is only in his boxers right now. Crunch crunch asterisk, did you guys mind? Hector says, exasperated to Helena and Shago that is observing him with great attention while eating, like a show. No, we don't mind. Shago says, did you mind Helena? Not me, you can continue. Hector can only sigh to their hums of appreciation. I will see your girls too, wait for it. What do you want to your suit, darling? The diminutive woman with a bob cut, that looks much younger now asks. Well, I like black and white. My body can change, and the UMF is already good. I just want a better design, Hector answers. Yes. Your old suit looks like have been designed by an 5-year-old child with a crayon. Edna says dismissively. Hey, but this cape has to go. I will not allow you to use this abomination. She says, turning her face to the side with a harumph. Edna, we talked about this. My mantle can be detached easily. Will not be a problem. And it's good to hide things. Hector says placatingly. Humph. I will not make you a new one then. You need to go out looking like an emo Hogwarts student. Is okay, I just want a new design from my suit. This is an insult to my skills. But okay, I will make better white lines, will accentuate your muscles. Edna starts to say excitedly. Your muscles will make all other men's testosterone levels drop down by your sheer presence alone. Women will want to have your superior babies. Edna gets excited and points to the sky with a smile full of teeth. By the way, it's possible to disguise. You know, the volume on my crotch. Hector interrupt her little. Embarrassed. Oh. Edna slowly turns around, but this is one of the things that I would accentuate. You need to flaunt your superiority to everyone, know who is the alpha in the precinct. Sigma, Hector jokingly thinks. But it's okay, darling. There are ways to make that your penis won't arrive in places before you. Edna says, rolling her eyes. Now is time for you too. Purple girl. No capes. Hey, and you? Why did your suit look like a cubist painting? Heh. I like her. Hector thinks after taking everyone measures and preferences. Edna says goodbye. She has a house in Paris, and thanks to the background card Hector was able to bring all her technology with her. Now darling, it's time to rock the fashion world. Bye bye, she says while she walks through the portal. Thanks Edna. You're awesome. Hector says goodbye. Tell me something that I don't know, darling. An, hello there. Everyone is good? Now is the time to the author notes. I will say some important things now, and answer some FAQ. First, the MC's appearance. You guys know that Hector previously is a skinny nerd 6/10. Now, after assimilating this last batch, is safe to say that he achieved the absolute 10/10. He is as handsome as humanly possible. Without God of BD, Incubus bloodline, and other bullshit that he will not gain for now. Appearance, like money and intelligence, is a great thing that make life easier. Hector knows this and he will use this. But he needs to hide his identity. Is too little time to become so beautiful. So, I will describe high appearance with images as a reference. Hector as Eidolon will let himself go. He is 6 feet 4 inches foot as a reference. Cap is 6'2" foot and Thor is 6'6" foot. He will grow even more probably. He only 16 after all. As Eidolon, because of his half mask, any youthfulness of his face is hidden. So people think that he is him his early 20s. High only change his hair to white and make it long to make Aaron's man bun. His eyes change colors constantly, but generally is that brilliant purple of royal titans. As a civilian, Hector will settle for being 6 feet. He looks skinnier than his Eidolon counterpart. He uses large clothes, glasses and lets his black hair fall on his face. He almost always with a bored expression. There's a difference between Hector's and Eidolon's posture too. One walks with his puffed chest, confidently, and his presence alone can suffocate someone. Hector, on the other hand, will not receive a double take if someone passes by him on the street. But people are not stupid. Girls can look at Hector and see, oh, he is cute. He would look better if he takes care of himself. Woman has attention to detail. Hector looks a little unremarkable at first glance. Recently I see record of Ragnarok and you can imagine Hector like Beelzebub, just with glasses. Now to the questions about his powers. Someone asked if he copied Shinso quirk in BNHA during that bank robbery. You guys can consider Todd every quirk that appears in BNHA. Hector has a copy too, but Hector will not use his villainous quirks to do hero work. BTW, recently has been revealed the second user quirk. Thanks, I don't invent some bullshit. Is an op quirk, but it need to charge. So, you consider this the reason that Hector don't use it against Thor. This quirk and Fajin. Hector's cyborg body against Magneto. Dudes, he can change between normal, flesh and bones, and cyborg body anytime. He can even use Inuyashiki powers without turning himself into a cyborg, but will be weaker. As a comparison, if Hector assimilates a dragon, his flame breath would be weaker in human form. Now let's show your guys something funny. In my last chapter, I wrote this phrase, whatever. I shrug my shoulders. I don't need to treat these guys like I treat Shago and the others. Context, Hector is talking about the evil summons. And someone comment this. Are you a misandrist or a misogynist, because this statement encapsulates both variances of hate speech. I have flagged the author and story based upon the hate speech written fuck. Ha ha ha. To make myself clear, no one can treat everyone equally. I emphasized 2 times in this chapter that Hector will treat his summons with equity. He doesn't care about gender, race, religion. He cares about the character's past actions. He will treat them based in this. Sorry, dear reader, but if you saw misogyny in this statement, maybe the problem is in your eyes. You're the one seeing hate where there none. I'm not even religious, but God bless you and seeks for help. Touch grass or something. Get off Twitter. Not everything is about race and gender, okay? Now at last, in the chapter that the world reacted, we saw Magneto and the professor reaction. Some people are surprised about how chill they are. Hehe. Are you guys not sick of Magneto as a crazy irrational supremacist in most of fanfics and the professor as a mind rapist Dumbledore? Maybe they're not that bad. People has layers, you know? Let's analyze Xavier. He messed up with the Phoenix, but he is a handicapped man that meets a multiversal threat. He doesn't know how to deal with He is afraid. He himself thinks that he needs to shoulder this responsibility. He doesn't know that he is making a time bomb. He has no prior knowledge. He is a man that his only way to be safe from people is his telepathy. And then he meets something above his comprehension. That throws all his efforts in the trash. Understandable that he is afraid. Well, it's don't excuse him. But he is not a villain. Just a little unlikable. And Magneto. Fun. Fact, did you guys know that in the Secret Wars, the saga where the Beyonder wants to understand good and evil and put heroes and villains to fight, he puts Magneto on the side of the heroes. He thinks that Magneto is a hero. I fanfics, to create a conflict is easier making Magneto a guy who wants to crazily recruit someone by force. Forcing his way of thinking. A very hateable trait to anyone. But I like Magneto. Principally in the movies. To Magneto, Eidolon is a strong mutant that can defend himself, so he is not worried about him. He thinks Eidolon will eventually fail and see for himself that there's no way of coexistence with humans. And someone asked how he knows that Eidolon wants to make a middle ground between Magneto and Xavier ideologies. Well, Hector doesn't hide this from Jean, and Jean doesn't hide this in the Institute. And you guys think that Magneto doesn't have some spy there? Well, about Magneto, I like A Song of Ice and Fire, you know? Rarely are there truly evil guys there. There are people with certain motivations. If we understand them, we can break down their personalities and see that they're not a villain per se. Sometimes only broken or misled. People. Like Jamie. Everyone hated him in the beginning, I bet. I don't want these characters to be one-dimensional like most fanfic. Things are not that simple. I want to do justice to their amazing characters. And despite that, conflicts happen, with good vs good, very common in the comics now. Evil vs evil. Not only good vs evil. Let's see how Eidolon and Magneto's meeting will be. And well, Hector can't have a bad relationship with his future father-in-law. Bye-bye. Till next time. Stay good. When you're born that big an a-hole, at least you can do is have a little empathy. Wasp Rick. Anthony Stark P.O.V. While trying to synchronize the neuron link with the newest armor prototype, I asked the annoyed face of Rhodes on the screen. Tell me again why you didn't fight with us against the invasion. I already know the why, but is my responsibility as a friend to rub salt in the wound. My superiors have decided that in the case of defeat, we couldn't lose all valuable personnel. And then, they changed my password to the hangar where the armor was stationed and put me on house arrest. Rhodes explains. His face is all I need to see to know how pissed is with this whole thing. Basically, in the case of my eventual death, that will be most likely if we consider that they nuked the city, they don't want to lose my tech. So they confiscate your toy and grounded you. I ask sarcastically. Tell your mommy, the military, that daddy here give you that toy and she can't take it like that? He sighs again and says. At least they give it back, and now I'm putting people that I trust to guard the armor. Yeah, you learned from your mistakes. I say while noticing that the prototype is not responding to the commands. Too bad you lose the chance to be part of the cool club. I turn to him, lifting my shoulders. Now when you appear you will always be my sidekick, armor boy. This is not important. And is Iron Patriot now? He says, exasperated. Anyway, I called to ask how are you, Tony? Rhodes says, looking at me seriously, and I pause. Well, I'm a multi-billionaire, the smartest man alive, an international superhero, something that you are not, and the most famous person on Earth. I'm very good, thank you for asking. I answer dismissively. Isn't Reed the smartest man alive? He only has more P.H.D.S. He has no other feats to speak for. I answer quickly. And the most famous people are Captain America, Thor, and Eidolon. He continues, they're just the novelty. They've appeared now and will be quickly forgotten. I roll my eyes. This guy looks like a dog with a bone. I decide to change the subject. I'm working on a way to remotely control my armor. This will allow me to bring it to me at any time, any place. When I finish, bring yours here, I will change it too. This way, you will never be grounded again. I say. He looks at me and nods. Now I'm busy, bye. I don't wait for him to say anything else and end the call. Reclining in my chair, I take a deep breath. I close my eyes, trying to relax. But is useless, and for an instant, I'm not on my tower anymore. For an instant I'm on a battlefield, battered, armorless, and powerless, the bodies of my fellow heroes scattered around, unmoving and lifeless. New York. I'm suffocating, my legs weak, the world spinning. Why? Tony? Tony. With a scare and a gasp for air, I return to reality. I'm back at my lab in Stark Tower. Nothing changed, but the overwhelming feeling of helplessness and despair continues to weigh on my chest. Tony, are you all right? I look at my side and see Pepper looking at me worriedly. Ugh, here we go again to another nagging talk. You scared me, I was resting. I lie. I called you plenty of times. J.A.R.V.I.S. even warned you that I arrived and you just stood there. And you were shaking. She says, checking on me. Just my body trying to find a good position to sleep. Sleeping 30 minutes now and then 30 minutes in. 4 hours is not really sleeping, Tony. She says, starting to get mad. Ugh. How do I explain this to her? She will not understand my worries, and I also don't want to worry her too much. She already has enough on her plate taking care of the Stark industry. I need to work on my armors. I need to be ready next time. And isn't that a terrifying thought? Next time. There will be a next time. I know it. I can feel it. I always thought that I could easily solve most of the problems of the world if I put a little effort into them. I just never cared before. I will be the first to admit that I'm a little of an arrogant guy, but I don't think it is unfounded. I'm smarter than most, richer than most handsome than most. So it's not an exaggeration to say that I'm in the top 1% of the world, right? So I was very pleased with myself. Well, till I received my first wake-up call when I was kidnapped by terrorists. At that moment I felt my mortality. But at that time, I was not very worried about my life. I was more worried about my legacy, maybe. The lives that I destroyed while getting rich. I never cared to think about that. Meeting Yinsen changed that. So I decided to prove to myself and to the world that I can do good too. First, going to destroy all my weapons in the hands of terrorists, the more direct approach. And then change Stark Industries to something better, out of the weapons business, the slow approach. I thought that I'm finally on the right path. That I'm finally making the world a better place. Found my call. My reason to be alive. See, Tony Stark can do it if he wants. I even boldly declared that I had privatized world peace. And damn, I was wrong. Very wrong. My silence is urging Pepper to continue her nagging. But before she can go on, one of the hollow screens shows something interesting. Yesterday night, Eidolon saved 8 people from a building in flames. The fire department declares that his efforts and his efficiency are praiseworthy. Now, stay with the footage. The news anchor speaks before the screen shows another scene. By the shaking of the video, the footage was probably taken by a civilian with a phone. There's a 5-story building being engulfed in flames from the ground floor to the top. It looks pretty bad. Even firefighters are having a hard time getting in. And then he arrives. Well, the person filming didn't capture Eidolon's arrival. It's night, and he wears black. But everyone felt it. The air trembling, the sonic boom, his I'm here that reaches everyone's ears even if he is not shouting. He just fucking drops from the sky directly onto the roof of the building. There is no noise of destruction, so he must have become intangible. His entrance, for some reason, makes a sound of him landing inside the building maybe. Not a second passed before he arrived and a gust of wind extinguished the flames and then expelled all the smoke from the building. Like is being controlled, and probably is, the smoke goes to the sky spiraling and dispersing. Sometime later, people start emerging from the entrance, and Eidolon phases through the wall carrying 3 people. Slowly he descends to the ground and people just make their way to him. Everyone is silent, even myself, and I'm just watching through the screen. Just a few seconds is all he needs to solve a crisis like that. Can I deal with something like that? Absolutely. But he's just too fast and efficient. The footage doesn't stop. It is possible to see Eidolon lowering a woman to the ground. People came out of his stupor and started cheering. She inhaled too much smoke. Eidolon's voice echoes as he looks at the woman on the ground. A man who is probably her husband approaches her quickly and worriedly. This will be unpleasant, Eidolon says and extends his hand. His hand remains a little above the woman's torso and he makes a pull motion. Black smoke starts flowing from the woman's mouth and nose. And she starts to cough violently. Eidolon turns her around quickly and lets her cough on the ground as he pats her on the back. Her face is full of tears and snot, but she is alive. Damn. I can't help but says. Did that guy have a solution to everything? I thought that I'm a prepared guy. What convenient range of powers he has. I know, right? Pepper says at my side, eyes glued to the screen. I'm a big fan. She adds, well, that's new. Hey, why are you not my fan too? I ask with fake outrage. She rolls her eyes and answers, you know the thing about never meet your heroes? Yeah, whatever good image you have out there, it was destroyed for me a long time ago. Fair enough, I can concede on that. To me, Eidolon is another wake-up call. There are people like that hidden on Earth. I remember Fury saying how, I'm not the only superhero in the world, and there's a bigger universe out there. But, ugh, the Hulk I can understand. Gamma radiation, an unwilling monster created in a laboratory. Thor is a shocker too, a literal god, in flesh. But I shrug it off later. A little fight and a talk with the guy show that he is like us, just more powerful. But Eidolon, I don't know, there is something scary about him. I know of Magneto and other mutants, or metashumans now. They exist for a long time. But at the same time, it looks so distant. Like they live in another reality. I've never seen a metahuman in person before. Whatever, I have some understanding of Thor. A god from another civilization, with no interest in doing something bad to Earth. Hulk is dangerous, but I and Bruce are working on a way to take care of the big guy. The big guy is manageable. But I, and everyone else in the world, know nothing about Eidolon. He is not in Fury's database. He just pops out of thin air. If the invasion hadn't happened, the world would still be clueless about his existence. Hell, how many other meta are hidden out there? A terrorist that is literally my weakness is already bad enough. Well, although I don't like it, it's not that bad. The guy has done nothing to warrant of suspicion. He helped, a lot. Is at the same time good and comforting knowing that he has my back. He is someone that I would call to a party. What is this folder titled Eidolon? I hear Pepper asking while she's already clicking on that folder without waiting for my response. When she presses the hollow table, many more hollow screens appear in the air, showing footage of Eidolon in action. Oh, so you're a fan too? She asks, teasing. Sort of. I shrug. Well, it's expected. After all, he saved your life. She says while rewatching Eidolon and Thor fight. Well, technically, Reed messed up in not taking into account the time needed to stabilize our atmosphere with the vacuum of space in closing the portal. So I would escape anyway. I say, but deep down I'm grateful for Eidolon's help. But I can't admit it, I have an image to maintain. Is that so? She looks at me unimpressed. And about shielding you and all of New York from the bomb? She asks, pointing to the screen where the enlarged captain's shield is blocking the closing portal. I have to admit, that's cool as hell. It appears that he has a similar power to the effects of the Pym particles. And isn't that a stab at Hank's professional pride? Haha. I wonder how his power works. Did he transform energy into matter, increasing the proportion of the object that he touches? Well, I'm the one that put the nuke on the portal. Did you miss that part? I ask, making her roll her eyes. Yeah, you're my hero, Tony. Just rest some point. Wow, damn. She starts before interrupting herself after noticing another screen. Oh, that one. This is one of those that really made me aware of the guy. A tsunami in Indonesia. Last week. The big wave is approaching the coast and then, boom. A black object collides with the thing at hypersonic speed, making the wave explode. Even the water that starts pouring from the sky is blocked by a transparent shield. These displays of power are what is pushing me forward to improve my tech. Him fighting against Thor is impressive, okay, but we have no comparison to make. He and Thor looked unfazed while fighting, like everything is a light spar. But seeing the guy punching at tsunami, huff. I noticed that Thor must have held himself back tremendously in our little misunderstanding at the beginning of the whole thing, when he wants to take Loki immediately and we blocked his path. In hindsight, we should have let him take the bastard away. Yeah, wow. You should be happy to know that early today he moved a ship that was blocking the Panama Canal. So the things that you bought on the internet must arrive on time. I say, my hero. Yeah, he just moved a ship weighing 200,000 tons. Just another normal day here with the supers. I say, like is no big deal, and watch Pepper's eyes widen. That's the reaction that I need would come. I'm happy to know that I'm not the only one shocked by what that guy can do. Really, wow. She says, one more reason that you can rest. You're not alone on this, Tony. This, whatever Save the world with the Avengers thingy. There's no need for you to carry the world on your shoulders, she says, and I do not need to answer because her phone beeps. Well, that's all of my break. I need to go back, she says, moving towards the door seriously. Rest. If not, I will call Phil to tase you. His name is Agent, I shout to her, disappearing back. I can't rest. It's only a matter of time until another threat appears. I know it. There's another reason that Eidolon's appearance bothered me. Deep down, I know that without him we would have lost. He is not on the plan. No one called him. If he hadn't shown up. This total unexpected variable. I almost don't want to think about that. And if another variable appears next time. But this time on the other side, I need to be prepared. Third-person POV. Eidolon is in the middle of a building. Various criminals are being arrested by police officers. Eidolon usually doesn't go out of his way to invade a criminal organization and destroy its business, but this is another special case. This criminal organization works with human trafficking. Investigating the disappearances reported by Luke Cage weeks ago, Eidolon found this place is not what he is looking for. The place that is attacking now is just the base of the shipping of women to be prostitutes in some places in Europe. Nothing like kidnapping to make experiments or something like that. But obviously, he can't let this pass. So he stopped his investigation and is destroying the organization for now. This is the fourth seed of the organization. Dismantled already. The last in America. The records of the criminal boss say that there's another client. This is probably who I'm looking for. But the place of the meeting changes every time. Eidolon thinks you guys think that are so smart being cautious, but trying to be so secretive just brings attention even more, you know. He starts planning to investigate the places of the meeting and search for clues. After go and visit the rest of this organization in Europe. I'm almost going to JoJo just for moody blues, but I have my ways. While he thinks that something attracts his attention, a criminal is on the ground crying and murmuring something. Asterisk sob asterisk I didn't know, asterisk sob asterisk I thought that was just smuggling some things, asterisk sob asterisk the criminal looks like is a little over 20 years old. Normally Eidolon would ignore this, thinking that is bullshit. But his powers tell him that the criminal is being truthful. He is not feeling bad for being caught, as is what happens with the majority of criminals. He apparently really doesn't know what he is working on. Eidolon sighs in his mind. This is not the first time that something like that happens. Would be easy for him if every thug and hooligan was 100% evil. But real life is not like that. True good people are rare, but equally rare are truly bad people. A little mental inspection shows that this criminal in particular never hurt anyone. He just stays on guard and moves some things. He is working on this whole thing for 8 months. Maybe he has a backstory, but Eidolon is nothing gonna pry on that. Seeing the criminal being not so gently helped to his feet to be handcuffed, Eidolon steps forward and says, "Hey, what's your name?" "Yeah, you." He repeats himself after the criminal appears surprised. "See Carl? I'm Carl." The criminal says flustered. "Eidolon, please. I'm not a bad guy. I just wasn't lucky," he says between sobs and hiccups. "Well, Carl, I believe in you," Eidolon says seriously, putting one hand on the criminal's shoulder. Carl looks up in surprise. Even the cop who is holding his wrists raises his eyebrow. "I understand very well that in life we could make mistakes, and this one mistake doesn't necessarily define us and our morals," Eidolon says, looking Carl in the eye. "So Eidolon, could you he dash no, I can't." Eidolon interrupts, putting a bucket of cold water into the criminal flame of hope. "You have to understand, Carl." Eidolon sighs before continuing. "I can't help everyone. Many situations are out of my control. I wish I could help everyone, but it is simply not possible," Eidolon says sadly, "and if I need to choose, obviously I will put my efforts into defending the law-abiding citizen and innocent people, right? Like the girls that I just rescued today." He looks at Carl again, and this time Carl looks ashamed of himself even more. "The only person that could help you now, Carl, is yourself." Eidolon pauses. "Is that your first offense?" Eidolon asks. Carl nods. "Yes, that's the first time I'm going to jail. So maybe you will be released sooner than later, and then is in your hands to do the right choices." Eidolon sighs again. "I know that life is not easy and the world is far from an ideal place. Circumstances and temptations can make you do bad things. That is the way of the world now. But I'm going to change this, Carl. I'm working hard to make a world where the good guys win. Choose the right side next time. The winner side is no more the easier criminal life. Idolin grasps Carl's shoulder a little more strongly. I believe in you. Sending Carl off, Idolin hopes that his little peppy talk changed that man's life. Carls are more common than Idolin would like them to be, and like Idolin said, he can't help everyone. Well, maybe he can, but would be a Herculean effort and is a trap that he already saw All Might falling for. The system is flawed, and people have different opportunities. People are not born. Qual is the opening phrase of the manga Boku no Hero Academia. Hector's time there allowed him to learn some valuable lessons. If he wants, he can literally make a better world by force, and drag civilization to progress kicking and screaming, but is not the right path. People need to solve these issues by themselves. He can only guide and make sure that humanity doesn't screw up too badly. Idolin's hero activities are not just about saving people, even if this sums up 90% of his actions. Sometimes he cleans pollution. As an example, he tested the sky poison pearl purification powers in a river full of toxic waste. He didn't rid the river of the dirt but cleansed it from the rest poisonous things. One of the nice things that he learned from All Might is not just about doing flashy hero work. A true hero helps even when no one is looking. Idolin in the shadows helps a lot too, like his little scheme with Saul. Sending a message to Saul's phone, he passes all the information about Carl and today's case. He will make Saul work extra hard to release the guy, giving Carl his second chance. Will only depend on him after this. Giving second chances to those that deserve them. Monitoring the true bastards closely. Hector is using Saul's abilities to their fullest. Now, let's crash some rings of illegal sex labor. Where again? Turkey. Idolin thinks as he checks the documents he has seized. Soaring to the sky, he heads out to the main base of this whole criminal scheme. Idolin generally doesn't go out of his way to do these things, but if he starts helping, he is going all the way. Somewhere in Turkey, seeing Idolin dropping off from the sky is not a daily occurrence for these parts. The pedestrians start pointing and taking out their smartphones to record him. Idolin ignores everything around him. He doesn't waste time and kicks the entrance of the building. His aggressive stance shows to the people nearby that he means business and not the good kind. Everyone starts to move away and some even call the police, useless because Idolin already contacts them. The thing about his big entrance is attracting the attention of the media because the police could be very well in the pockets of the criminals. He is gonna make a show and bring all involved to light. And in this case, exposing people's bad deeds is a job to Anonymous, Hector another persona. He is already uploading information on the internet. We are here where early this day Idolin dismantled a big scheme of human trafficking to sexual exploitation. Right there, you all can see the involved being apprehended and the victim being escorted to safety personally by Idolin. The camera shifts to film Idolin standing overseeing the police doing their job. I just received the information that the criminal activities, name of clients and other concrete proofs have been put on the internet. Many important people have their name on the list, including politicians, celebrities, and the reporter continues, but Idolin is not paying attention anymore. After seeing the last criminal being put in the car, Idolin turns to the victims. To those that have families waiting for them, please come with me. I will transport you guys personally to your homes, he says. Most parts of the victims are foreign, some are kidnapped, and others fell for the classic scam of a better life in another country. I don't remember where I come from very well. A little girl that is being hugged by an older teenager says shakily. An 11-year-old. Idolin thinks darkly. Bending down to eye level with the girl, Idolin says, "Don't worry, I'm a very good detective. I will find your family. Come with me." Opening a portal, he waits for everyone to pass before one last look at the police officer overseeing the operation. Early the police officers tried to prevent Idolin from taking the victims, but he is not having any of it. The biggest patrons and customers of this whole thing are rich and influential people. He has no hope that these people will receive some big sanction. Even after releasing their information on the internet, public outrage can only go so far. Their career and public image may have been destroyed, but they will likely be let loose in no time. But Idolin has their names now. He can always suicide them secretly. Idolin. POV 197. That's the number of victims. 20 of those are men, ages ranging between 10 and 17. Apparently, the bastards are focused on satisfying the sick craving of pedophiles. After taking the information of everyone and searching the mind of the ones that don't have a clear memory of their home, I also use Inuyashiki powers to cleanse them from any drug effects of permanent damage. After this, start sending everyone off. It takes a huge amount of time but is worth it. After taking pictures and cataloging their information, I finally can end the day. I thought about letting the police handle the victims, but you never know if someone won't want to erase some evidence. Is too many people involved and is already a big scandal, but someone, in particular, may want to cut his connection with this criminal organization killing one of the workers. And anyone would want to reunite with their family as fast as possible. So I'm helping them. Huff, this day sucks. The results are good, but seeing the worst of humanity is always unpleasant. Let's go home to Hector POV Midtown High, lunch break, humming to myself as I ate my lunch. Or at least I pretend to eat my lunch. I became picky with food after acquiring super senses, so I eat little food here in school and very quickly too. Some foods here taste like chemicals to me now. I'm really considering implant my own food on the farm that my grandpa arranged for me to buy. Plus I'm already assimilating Homelander, so my super senses are no longer a power I can deactivate so easily. Thankfully he has years of experience and I'm inheriting this. I'm assimilating Odin and Dark Danny too, by the way. Very low percentage of progress, but it's only been a week since Gtacha, so it's okay. Why I'm still attending school? Well, there are too many problems with using clones to take my place. And a side of me just wants to enjoy high school while I can. I have a melancholic thought some days ago, while planning about possible trips to other universes. I was reminded that the big works of fiction do not exist here. And I died, probably, without knowing how many things ended. Like One Piece, A Song of Ice and Fire and others. Then I thought, well, I can visit these worlds and watch firsthand how things will turn out anyway, whatever. But I will need to be a true spectator, interfering with nothing. This will take some time because I want to live in these places too, so I will need to be very strong and accomplished to just go around to watch canon unfold. Like I said before, this whole thing of being a superhero is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to grow old and still wear my mantle. My objective here is to help the world a lot so that I can retire at most 20 years from now. And then I will go live the wish fulfillment life that I deserve. Even I want to realize my fantasies. Learn magic in Hogwarts. And bang some witches from there. Travel as a pirate in One Piece. And bang Yamato. Be a Shinigami in Bleach. And bang Yoriyuki. Be a Pokemon master. And bang Cynthia. Priorities, you know. A man can dream. I still have my list of to-do weeb things, but for now, I'm taking things seriously and growing in power. So I can't go use my travel tickets to bang my waifus. But when I am strong enough, I can go on vacation, right? And that is the moment that the melancholic thought crossed my mind. I asked myself, after everything, after fighting so many crises, growing old, will I still find it fun to go visit those worlds and fulfill my fantasies? I will be, what? 30 years old? The 30 years old me will have the patience to play with an 11-year-old brast in Hogwarts? Growing is losing interest in certain things. You grow and see something that you loved as a child and realize that it's not just fun anymore. That hurts hard. Maybe I should start taking vacations now. Sparingly, but frequently. Heck, I want to be a student in UA in the Nha world. And when I went there I speedrun everything. I don't regret it, but if I was strong, my stay there would be very different. Whatever, maybe there's a way to condition my brain to be more immature or something like that. Erase my memories for some time. To enjoy the whole Isekai experience or whatever. Wait a minute. What if I'm living exactly this at the moment? What if I'm already a super powerful guy, and I erased my memories to enjoy an Isekai adventure in Marvel? Maybe I'm already traveled through a lot of fictional worlds. Maybe I'm a clone. An extension of my true body that is right now banging many fictional girls. Did I give the essence to myself? Maybe Shago is already my wife, and she just come with me through the essence. With her memories erased too. Maybe all the things that I gained through the Gtacha are something I already acquired in my omniversal travels to become omnipotent. Maybe I'm bored god that already lived for eons. Is my life true? These memories. Did I really have parents? Did I kill them to them not to be in the way of my fun? Ugh. I don't want to think about this. There's no point in it too. What can I do? If my assumptions are correct, I will just live my life as always. I shake my head and go focus on something else. Let's go back to the present and stop questioning my existence. I will not receive an answer anyway. As usual, I'm alone in the cafeteria, holding a tablet in my hand as I multitask and study some subjects, but in truth, I use most of my focus to program some games. Technopathy. So useful. I love it. So I start to prepare to make my game company. Surprise, surprise, Steam and Valve haven't been created yet. Hehe. Time to milk the nerds. This time I will be on the other side, Gabe. I will create popular games from my last life, with low requirements to PC and then launch my company. I have already contacted the current owners of Counter-Strike 1.6. The game is dying now, so the timing is good. This timeline is strange. The year is 2004, but technology is already 10 years forward when compared with my other life. I can only attribute this to the many geniuses of this world. Now is the time to take advantage of my future knowledge like every good Isekai protagonist. Portal, D.O.T.A, LOL, Minecraft, Among Us, Bioshock and Skyrim. Daddy here will bring you all to life. Yes, I will bring the SUS meme and the many Minecraft YouTubers to this world. I'm a hero or a villain. My morality is oscillating right now with this hard decision. Heck, even Flappy Bird could be a huge hit and is so simple. The best part about this whole thing is that I can do it all alone. I and my VI are enough to start this company. In the future obviously, I will hire workers. I can't keep making games by myself, or managing bugs and new patches. I also want to give a chance to all software developers and game programmers of this world. I wonder how the new games will be made after I just drop a ton load of influence from my last life here. Maybe an even better storyline of God of War? Or of Devil May Cry. The divergence in the path they will take excites me a little. Another good thing is that I can start this all, but I don't need to be involved too much on the future. I could just sell to one of my summons in the future. Maybe I need a card from a secretary like Pepper Potts or a businessman like Luthor. Nah. I'm not summoning Luthor. He is too much of an egomaniac. And I want his brain from myself. His secretary would be good enough, Mercy Graves, right? Whatever, if I gain a competent administrator I will summon him/her here. Hector is a young aspiring doctor and heir to a multimillionaire hospital conglomerate that is lucky and talented enough to do some good games as a hobby, that's all. His focus will be on other things. That's my story and profile, and I'm sticking with it. I don't want Hector to be a celebrity. Not even in the geek social circle. I wonder how many companies in the world are secretly owned by immortal and ancient guys that have the same idea, like Vandal Savage in DC. Oil companies must be all secretly in the pockets of these old guys. But I have no interest in owning companies that work with tech, pharmaceuticals, or any of these things that can attract government and military attention. I'm aiming a little lower now, but I know it will pay off in the future. Internet and games/esports are very profitable industries in the future, even if it is looked down upon by the other mainstream entertainment industry. On another note, my training is going well. The many fighter geniuses that I assimilated make me learn things very fast. But I just ran into a wall in mine training. Little flashback. Going back to the living room of my house after teleporting away, I find Isabella putting the cup of water that I asked for on the table. What were you doing? Shago asks me and I lift my hand showing a leaf between my thumb and forefinger. A leaf? Is it some sort of magical leaf? Genetically modified weed? Shago asks confused. It's just a normal leaf. But I need it for a test. I answer. Putting the leaf on the cup full of water, I sit and put my hands on the sides of the cup and start the water divination test. Focusing in on the cup, I watch the changes. Shago and others at my side looking at it attentively too. The leaf starts moving and shaking. I'm a manipulator? Wait. The moving is only the beginning. The leaf starts to grow and release roots, growing and making other leaves too. So, what this means? Are you a Disney princess? I hear Shago say at my side, a specialist. I mutter to myself. Fun fact, I decide on the M scene and type based on Hisoka personality analysis. Hehe. The MC is a specialist tending to manipulator because he is independent and charismatic and also logical and does things at his own pace. How the fuck specialist make nin moves? Again? How specialists make nin moves? I have no idea. Yuvajin answers my questions. I came looking for him. But I'm not truly here. This is only a projection. Yeah, I can do things like that with a combination of many powers. Many specialists just awaken their powers naturally. It's the normal method. He continues. I remember that girl who can write the future. She is not an competent and don't appears to never have received any training. There are people like that too. When the power awakens, you can put restrictions on it to make stronger. Kurora did that. Yuvajin advises. Yes, that is one of the methods of the Nin power system. The user itself chooses the restriction and weakness of the power. The stronger the restriction, the stronger the power will be. Okay. Thank you for your time. I say disappearing. End of the flashback. And now I'm here, waiting for my power to awaken. I'm not forcing anything, these things need to occur naturally. Patu is a specialist too. She awakened her power because she wanted to fix Kaido to play with him again. So overwhelming desire for something can awaken a power too. The bad thing about being a specialist is that my enhancer abilities are shit. With the whole compatibility thing. But I have a huge amount of aura. And I can gain an enhancer in the future by Gtacha. So I can bypass that limitations. I'm waiting for Gon obviously. I hear them coming before they are close. I can feel their aura, hear their heartbeat, and smell their characteristic scent. Look at me, feeling people's aura. I'm a fucking anime character. Super senses have their downsides though, I don't need to explain. Hearing their food tray being placed on my formerly empty table, I look up and see Peter, Ned, and Gwen smiling at me. Sup hi, Hector. Can we sit here? The three of them say almost at the same time. Looking at my empty table and the fact they're already sitting on it, I shrug my shoulders. I don't know why not. Ned sits at my side, and the two lovebirds sit opposite us. Some seconds later a fourth person put her tray on the table too. What? Are you guys monopolizing this table? Michelle Jones asks when everyone looks at her. I just shrug my shoulder and everyone welcomes her too. Molecular mechanisms, the biochemistry of the gene and genome. Ned reads the title of the text on my tablet. Are you really going to graduate early? He asks. Yep. Next semester. I simply say cool. Ned adds, our interaction attracts the attention of others. Already studying the college grade and you're not even in. MJ2 says. That's it, that is her thing. She is a very caustic person. She doesn't mean anything by saying that, but she looks a little judgmental. I can ignore that, I survive Shago. But other people think that she is an annoying bitch. I don't looking at her when I answer. I know that I will pass. Sincerely, anyone on this table can already be in college. Not a big deal. And it's true. I think this table has more IQ than the rest of the school combined. And it's not that hard to go early to college. Once again, is probably because of the many geniuses who have already set a precedent. It is equally easy to graduate if you're smart enough. You can miss many classes and still pass. You can even do multiple graduations at the same time. I think Reed is seeking his 20th doctorate right now. I think he must have a boner looking at all his PhDs. Hee. It reminds me of the origin story of Batman. It's a little funny. To the world, Bruce's has no superior qualifications to speak for. The guy is such a maniac to hide his capabilities that he would disguise himself to go the classes. Pretend to sleep, but pay attention. And he never completed his program to acquire a degree, with the exception of the business one. So, what path I'm taking? At the same time that I don't want to be super remarkable, I don't want to play the second-generation rich kid. Meh, I will reveal that. I'm a genius. No biggie, there are many here anyway. And not all of them are famous like Reed and Stark, like Maya Hansen, who is very underrated. Back to reality, I hear Gwen asking me which college I'm going to. Columbia. Here in New York, and has a good historic in the medical field. I answer. Oh, true, they're the first medical school in America. And she answers and starts talking about trivia that I already know. But these guys are making the effort of taking care of lonely me so I can at least hear her. But I don't like when the focus of the conversation is on me in any form, so I will shift to attack mode. So are you two dating? I suddenly ask the couple in front of me. Wano? I mean, yes. But you shouldn't have known. Yes. But, how do we know? Is that obvious? The two became wide-eyed at my abrupt question and Peter starts to stutter. This guy can't lie to save his life. Yes, it's obvious. You guys are giving each other disgustingly sweet stares. Seriously, I'm almost diabetic. I see the two of them become red-faced instantly and I make a show of looking at my watch. You know, the cleaning closet must be empty by now. You guys could use it. Between the bleach and the stairs, there is where people normally have some privacy. I continue making them blush even more. And how do you know that? MJ2 turns around and asks me. I'm little of a detective myself. I answer, knowing that the reference will fly over their head. So how did you guys start dating? Tell me more. Why should we? This is personal. Gwen says, still blushing. Come on, I'm rooting for you guys for a long time. Yes, as a fictional character. A really long time. After our date was crashed by the invasion we talked a little, and tried again, and Peter begins to explain himself awkwardly. Wait, when you guys went on a date, did an alien invasion happen? I ask with a little disbelief in my voice and wait for them to nod. Next time that you lovebirds go out, can you let me know? I want to prepare and go to my danger room. I say, making Ned laugh. And if you guys get married, sorry but I'm not attending. I will take a vacation out of the country. I conclude, come on, my luck isn't that bad. Peter whines and everyone gave him a look of seriously. Maybe, a little. He murmurs. After going back to my and reading, Ned interrupts me again. Hey, Hector, check this out. He says and shows me a video on his smartphone. Some women making some sort of pagan dance to Thor. Topless, with some weird markings on their bodies. I'm sure that's not Asgardian runes. Is this legal? I ask, frowning. Seriously, that's unfair. The only homage I get is some Protestants anti-mutants calling me Antichrist and burning a scarecrow similar to me. Or hang a doll with my clothes by the neck. And Thor receives the topless fertility ritual bullshit dance. Fuck you, Sublime. I'm coming from you. They've been arrested, obviously. Haha, this is in that place where Thor returned to Asgard. The markings on the ground have become tourist attractions. Ned tells me. Ned, are you showing that video again? Gwen asks in a reproachful tone. No, this is history being made. I'm updating Hector with the news. Ned speaks a little flustered. As expected of the women brainwashed by this society, trying to use their assets to bring attention for themselves instead of trying a more appropriate way of showing their worth without depending on what the media classifies as attractive. MJ2 begins a rant. Girl, chill out. Who hurt you? What do you think about this, Hector? Ned asks. The heroes you know. Well, the time is too short to have a concrete opinion. I say dismissively, I'm cynical. My human brain is uncomfortable knowing that there are people out there who can do anything without consequences. I answer truthfully, but I'm not talking about the one that he is thinking. And I don't agree with this, you know. I say, pointing to his phone, this whole worship or derision. I think they're good guys trying to do the right thing. No need to worship the feet where they walk, and also there's no need to demonize them just by existing and having powers. I finalize. Reasonable. MJ2 agrees with me. Yeah, they've proven themselves good guys, until now. Ned agrees, looking at Peter. After this, the talk summarized to more light topics like the approaching exams and other school-related things. Ugh, I felt a problem and the world goes in slow motion to me. Mary Jane Watson, that was just passing by me, looking at her phone, slips in a juice pool on the ground. Is this the Yuakirito luck? Giving me opportunities like that. Something similar happens in Spider-Man 1 of Tobey Maguire. But she is not carrying a tray this time. I hesitate for a millisecond, considering seriously just letting her fall, but I'm a gentleman. From the corner of my eye, I can see Peter's eyes locking on MJ1 too, but he is too far. Holding myself a little, I turn around and grab her waist with my left arm. The smartphone that she has thrown up is caught by my right hand. Wow, thank you. You saved my life. Twice. He says, surprised and with a smile on her face, while I help her to her feet and give her her smartphone. TCH. She is really hot. It's nothing, I say and turn to sit at my table again before she starts to say that my eyes are blue or something like that. I don't want an awkward moment now. Even as I turn around, I can still feel that she's looking at me a little puzzled. Maybe I was rude, or maybe she is too accustomed to having all men wanting to prolong their talks with her to the maximum. Sorry, Red. Sigma male grind set here. I chuckle to myself. Oh, okay. I hear her murmuring in a low voice before heading to the popular table. That's a good reflex, Hector. Gwen says, looking at me strangely. Yeah, it is. MJ2 says. Looking at me strangely. What? Are you jealous? There's nothing going on between us, woman. No offense. Zendaya's face is beautiful and all, but your vibe is a little weird, and I don't plan on dating normal people, and I like them see. Sorry. If I say this, you will probably call me a macho pig that labels women based on the standards of this patriarchal society, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I should do this to her. Move on already. Is it too much of a dick move? Yeah man, are you practicing something? I remember that you held me back that time too. Ned says. Oh, Hector. Ned is now jealous, Gwen teases. I roll my eyes at her but decide to play along. Don't mind it, Ned. Our encounter is special in my heart, I say dramatically, making everyone but Ned laugh. He just shudders a little and distances himself from me. But seriously, that's awesome. You reacted very fast and even caught her phone. Gwen says. I sigh. Okay, you guys figured or my secret. I look at them seriously. The truth is, I'm Spider-Man, I say with a straight face. Pfft. Peter almost spit his drink. Dude, you're so easy to read. I pay attention to the reaction of the people at my table. MJ2 rolls her eyes, but Gwen and Ned look at Peter for a moment. They know. I conclude. Ned must have known for a time. Peter must have told Gwen on the day of the invasion. It's a cliche in my next life. Now I remember. Peter is chilling with his friends, then some villain appears. He disappears to come back as Spider-Man and save everyone, but everyone takes him as a coward because he is the first to run. So this time he has come clean with Gwen. Huh? Good to you, buddy. Just improve your catch game. I don't know why you guys are laughing. I could be Spider-Man, I say with fake outrage. I'm a Spider-Man, by the way. Yeah, sure, buddy. Ned consoles me at my side. I'm just saying. You guys have never seen me and Spider-Man in the same place and at the same time. The clues are there. Anyone who wants can see. My joke makes everyone laugh. By this logic, I'm Huntress. MJ2 adds. Who knows, with so many metahumans popping off, maybe one of us will be the next. I say, shrugging my shoulders. Just don't be corrupted by your powers, guys. I say, half joking and half serious. Third person POV. New York in the afternoon. Steve Rogers, A.K. Captain America, is absent-mindedly eating in an open area of a restaurant. His food is barely touched, and he continues to watch the world around him. His world, but equally very different. He asks himself again if he really should be here. As he draws a sketch of the buildings around him, he notices an elderly man sitting at his table. It is strange that he didn't notice that old man till him is very close. And the old man makes himself comfortable on the seat in front of Captain America. I was passing by and saw you here alone, Captain. So I decided to say a hi. The old man says. Steve frowns. He is in a disguise, and he don't go out frequently. Who is this guy that can recognize Steve, but Steve can't recognize him? Can I help you, sir? Steve ever politely asks. Haha. Oh yes. I'm Eidolon. I'm disguised too, the old man says, making his eyes change colors discreetly to prove his words. Seeing that you are in a disguise, I changed my appearance so as not to attract attention. But then Eidolon, in an old man form, gives Steve a look. But I have to say, my disguise is much better than yours. Cap using a cap. Is the pun intended? How? Steve asks, a little flabbergasted. If you're asking about the disguise hologram, don't ask too much. I even put the effort of being similar to your age. So Cap, why are you sulking here? Eidolon teases before asking. Steve groans. He probably heard a lot of jokes about his age. But he replies that he just went out to get some fresh air. I realized that I have to accept my new reality. And keeping me in a training facility underground is only me lying to myself. I can understand a little somewhat. Believe in me. About being thrown into a completely new reality. Your world going upside down all of a sudden. Eidolon says cryptically, but I don't think you want any consoling words. So all I can say is, humans are highly adaptable. You're no different. Right now, must be horrible. But you will find your place here. Cap. Idolin gives the only advice that he can. The two talked a little more. Idolin's grandfather was part of the Howling Commandos, so Idolin can make some good questions. Not that he will reveal that. There are agents nearby. You know, Cap. I'm half expecting you to be sexist and racist. Hehe. As I always thought that you're too much romanticized. Idolin say, remembering some realists' takes of Captain America in his last life. I'm glad that I was wrong. Steve sighs. You can call me Steve. And yes, I have seen some messed up things in the army, but I never liked that. When you are the little guy that everyone picks on, you learn to not discriminate. Idolin nods. Idolin talks a little about himself too, his hero job and other superfluous things, till he decides to ask an important question. So, did you go talk with Peggy Carter already? He asks as he sips on his juice. Captain America stiffens. How do you know I'm Idolin? But jokes aside, it appears that you do not. And what about it? Steve asks defensively. Idolin sighs. Steve, all that I will say for now on you can ignore or take to heart, I care not. But at least let me finish. Idolin starts. I will tell a little story. Two very good friends, the best of friends. Every day they meet each other. They laugh, talk, fight. You know, like best friends. But one day, they fought over something trivial. Like they had done a dozen times before. They said goodbye that day with the thought that the next day they would make up. Idolin narrates. But one of them died. End of the story. He says abruptly, shocking Steve. What I want to get to is that the last memory of the alive friend is of the fight that the two have. They parted on bad terms. And in end terms they will remain forever. A incorrigible regret. You understand, right? Peggy Carter is an old lady already. At any time, Idolin pauses for a moment and decides to go for a soft approach. Come on, Steve. We both know you'll see her eventually. You're delaying the inevitable. You want to stay under this spell of a forever young Peggy Carter in your memories. But the sooner that you do that, the better. Believe in me. Idolin stands up. And you think she doesn't deserve this closure? To you, only a few months had passed, but for her it had been 60 years, Steve. She is waiting for you? A blinding light surrounds the old man Idolin, and in its place, the true Idolin appears. People nearby exclaim in surprise. A certain guy told me that at the end of your life you regret the things you didn't do more than the things you did. Idolin claps Steve's shoulder. And about you feeling left out. Know that a good reason that I wear this mantle is that there are guys like you that inspire me. Idolin says truthfully. He then smiles. A smirk that promises a prank. This man here is Captain America. He is giving autographs. Idolin says loudly and takes off flying, leaving the stunned Steve Rogers behind. It doesn't take long for Captain America to be approached by some kids. And that is Idolin's intention. Steve can't only see this new world. He needs to feel and touch it too. All these people have these good lives thanks to his sacrifice. He mourns too much about the things that are lost in the war. Idolin is giving a new perspective of things that are gained in that war. For some hours, an awkward Captain America talked, autographed and took lots of pictures with fans. Idolin hopes he can see the huge good influence that he has on this generation, and that his sacrifice was not in vain. Idolin POV seeing and feeling Steve's mood genuinely improving put a smile on my face. I gave him some counsel, but I don't want him to think about this now. In truth, I don't want him to dismiss the idea too fast. I can use rewind and make Peggy Carter young again. Should I? That is the same moral question about healing children with terminal diseases. Sigh. I will think about this later. Don't rush and do something that you will regret, Hector. There are too many possible consequences to why my actions that I need to take in consideration. Callisto POV. New York sewers. I am at Idolin's side, watching many of my comrades working to better the place where we live. Idolin appeared with a large number of goods. To us. Construction materials, electronic devices, and other things. He dropped all and said, now work. And put us to improve by ourselves the base. I'm not your mother, don't be lazy, he said when he got everyone to help. Some people are installing air and water filters. Others are making holes to pass plumbing and electricity. He said that is not a far future to make this place as good as any city on the surface. And for the first time in a long time, I feel hope growing in me. This guy can make this happen. This guy can bring change. We all watched the footage of the invasion. And we and the whole world know that he saved everyone. Even if some dipshits are still looking for trouble and not accepting him. People like Captain America approve of him. He is on the same level of the other heroes, maybe higher. That's the first time in history that a mutant meta is approved by the world. Now people can start thinking for themselves instead of swallowing everything that the media says to them. Eidolon is the truth right on their faces. That there are good goals too. Mikhail, do you want to visit your siblings? I hear Eidolon talking to Mikhail. I still don't like that guy. But he's not doing anything bad anymore, so I can accept him. Yes, but I don't know how to face them. Mikhail says, a little insecure, a strange thing to see. Oh, his features. I see. Your last meeting is that bad? Eidolon asks. Mikhail just dips his head down. Okay, in a little more of a week later I will visit the mansion. You can come with me. Eidolon says, making Mikhail looks up. And nods gratefully. Going with a hero must erase any suspicion of the guy. Callisto. I hear him calling. Yes. I answer, a little too much eager. In the past, you said something about having contact with some gangs on the mutant ghetto. Eidolon says, don't hiding the distaste in his last words. Yes. I periodically exchange with them. But since you arrived it is no longer necessary. In the next meeting, I will cut ties with them. I say quickly, a little afraid of reproach. Unnecessary. I want to meet these gangs too. Next time I will go with you. He says, and I can only nod. Are you going to help them too? I ask. He nods before pausing. It's the plan, but there's something that takes precedence. He says and is silent for a while. Just when I thought he wouldn't continue. He finally says, I'm investigating the disappearance of some people, and some clues point to the mutant ghettos. I suspect that someone is doing experiments with humans and metas, to make super soldiers or new villains. I was shocked by his words. Are you worried about them? No, you think that the gangs there are in collusion with whatever is doing these experiments. I exclaim. He looks at me and nods. No one cares about the lives of the people living there. It is logical to take some real metas to study and see if it is possible to replicate their powers. But they're mutants too. How can they do that? I ask, outraged, don't even noticing my slip of the tongue in using the word mutant. Eidolon sigh. Callisto, you're underestimating the human capability to be evil. But maybe they're not evil. Just greedy. Envious. Want to join the winning side. Who knows? Eidolon says, you know. Most of the Africans who were captured to be enslaved in the past were captured by their fellows African. Europeans did not know the terrain, the flora, or the fauna. And it's not like the place is unified under one nation. Many tribes are enemies with each other. So the Europeans make deal with some, arming them and using the familiarity with the place to capture slaves. Eidolon says, yes. Not every meta is sensible to our problems. Many with good or non-noticeable powers just live their lives. Not everyone is Eidolon. There's only one Eidolon. Next meet, we'll go to the bottom of it. I say with determination. He only nods. Third-person POV. Night of New York. Friendly neighborhood. Spider-Man is observing the city at night. On top of a building, he searches for someone who needs his help. Things are peaceful for now. After the invasion, the villains apparently all decided to take a vacation together, and now only normal criminals plague the streets of New York. Maybe there's some annual conference of supervillains. And I wasn't invited as a speaker? This hurt my feelings. I thought I and my gallery of supervillains have something special. Spider-Man jokes to himself. But in truth, he knows the reason very well. Eidolon. The villains are scared of him. After the invasion, apparently, Eidolon made New York his base, or maybe he is just sticking around because of the aftermaths, but everyone knows that he is more active here. But he is expanding to the rest of the world. Spider-Man thinks, remembering the many news about Eidolon helping in other countries. Are you done using this gargoyle? I want to brood too. Spider-Man hears a voice on his back. Wadash. He turns around quickly and comes face to face with Eidolon himself. More than 6 feet tall, using his mantle. The hood is not covering his face. His eyes are shining purple with a little of gray or white on the middle. His characteristically half mask and white hair tied on a bun are displayed for all to see. After the invasion, he is not caring too much about covering his face with the hood of his mantle. Eidolon, I'm a big fan, do you know? You make my life much easier. Spider-Man exclaims. Haha. I'm a big fan too, Spider-Man. But I have some serious business. I have 3 things to talk about with you. Idolin says, showing 3 fingers. Peter Parker. He ends seriously, making Spider-Man pause. Wha? How? I mean, who? What is a PE Peter Parker? Spider-Man stumbles with his words, making Idolin rolls his eyes. Stop, your secret is secure with me. But is about this that I want to talk about you. You're not careful enough. I'm not the only one that knows your secret identity, you know. Idolin says, shocking Spider-Man. What? Yes. Spy agencies, Spider-Man. Satellites, cams in all places. Are you careful? Where do you change clothes? He asks accusingly, making Spider-Man wince. There's probably cams in your school too, by the way. Be careful. You must have cameras in your house too. As much to spy on you as to protect you. But I think you will not like that anyway. Idolin says. Spider-Man is silent now. Just be more careful. You have people to protect, right? The black-clad hero says, making the web-slinger nod. And this is the second thing that I want to talk about you. How is your catch game? Idolin asks out of nowhere. What? I'm saying, if someone is falling for this building right here, Idolin points to the edge of the building, and you can't reach them in time. How will you save them? I will throw a web. Is the only range method that I have. How? Idolin asks seriously. What? How? The web. I will try it. There's another way. Spider-Man asks nervously. Don't understand the conversation. Spider-Man. Idolin sighs. I will tell you a secret. I have a power that allows me to see glimpses of the future. Whoa, awesome dude. Not that much, is not very precise, and I don't want to become a slave of it. But let me finish. Idolin looks at him, trying to convey all the seriousness of the situation. I have seen you try to reach for someone exactly as you said. A person is falling and you throw the web. You catch her. But the shift in force. The whiplash breaks her. She died. A blonde woman. Your age. Idolin says. Under the mask, Peter becomes horrified. Idolin goes forward and puts a hand on Spider-Man's shoulder. Calm down. The future is in constant change. The fact that I told you that probably already changed things. I would exactly do that. I know that. Spider-Man murmurs absent-mindedly. Peter. Idolin attracts his attention. She is okay. It hasn't happened yet. Now you have the opportunity to do better. There are ways to save her. Throw as many webs as possible to stabilize her. Go yourself and catch her. Make web net under her to break the fall. Idolin advises in the thick of the action. We only have one chance. We don't have time to think. You have performed very well until now, but we can make mistakes. I am warning you not to carry this regret forever. Idolin says. Spider-Man gives a shaky nod. Connecting with this, I can talk about the third thing, Spider. Idolin says, bringing Peter's attention to him. Everything that Idolin said till now is important. Peter doesn't want to miss anything. You can quit. Idolin says. I'm saying that you can stop being Spider-Man. For a time. If you want. Permanently too. I'm not understanding. Spider-Man. How is your life? Is Gtacha? Are you sure? Idolin interrupts. Maintaining school, family, being a hero, hurting yourself, don't have time to study, worrying about your loved ones and worrying your loved ones. I can tell that you're a smart guy, with a bright future ahead if you put your mind to it. Go do it. Go focus on your studies, be stable financially, marry your girlfriend, give a good life to your aunt. Help yourself first, Peter. Idolin's eyes boring into Spider-Man mask. I can't. I can help people. If I do nothing, bad things can happen. Spider, I'm here. Idolin says simply and a little heroically. I can cover for you. You don't need to come every day to patrol. You can take a long vacation. You don't deserve the hate that you receive from the media. Go better yourself. Don't worry, I will protect New York. But you always come back later, when all these hero activities don't cripple your life. Spider-Man is silent for a while. You know, Peter begins. I can't do that. You're just one. Even if I can save just one more person, will be worth it. Will be worth all the trouble, he says. Idolin doesn't show, but he is impressed. That is a thing that he doesn't have. Idolin puts Hector above all. Even if he acts like a great hero, he knows deep down that is just that. An act. Someone once told me that with great powers comes great responsibility. Spider-Man concludes determinedly. Idolin sighs and begins to slowly float away while maintaining eye contact with Peter, and little happiness. Just remember that you will always have this option, Spider. Idolin says before disappearing. Spider-Man stays there for a long time. There's simply too much to take in. After some time he decides to go home to think. After a little web-slinging, he is home. But he is very careful this time. But when he arrives at his room he is surprised. There's a huge black box in the middle of his room. The box has 1 cubic meter in total. Cautiously, he takes a notepad nearby and throws it at the box while maintaining a fight stance. But it doesn't happen. His spider sense is not accusing anything, so he approaches carefully to take that thing away, but he sees a note on the box. From Idolin. He reads, "I can't stop you from helping people, so equally you can't stop me from helping you." After reading this he goes to check the black box. There's no place to open it. Voice recognition, approved. He jumps back when the box talks to him. PSSH, the box opens itself, revealing another note above many compartments and small boxes. Taking the other note, Peter starts reading. In this box, you can change the password method, has some things to help you. Fake documents. Technological devices with many functions and purposes. Chemical reagents too. You can make a real lab with it. There's a 20 grand in cash too. This makes Peter jump. He looks at the box and in the last compartment, he sees the cash. He closes it fast like the thing is a bomb. I can't accept that. He goes to the note again to continue to reading. You probably said that you won't accept it. What? How? Did he have cameras on my room? Peter says, looking around before going back to the note. Because I'm Idolin. But seriously, I understand you, Peter. Relax a little. I don't want the money back. If you don't want it, just donate it. But read first. What about you, Aunt? This makes Peter pause. She's not young anymore. Just keep the money in case something bad happens. You can search for me if you want help too. If you don't want the money, just let it accumulate dirt in the corner, whatever. Treat as your salary for all the hero work. Or escape money. Or retirement money. Is better to have it. That's all. Bye. Peter sighs. He can't accept money like that. But Aunt May. He noticed that she is having problems with the bills. Is it wrong of me to accept? Peter questioned himself. After some time he just decides to put the money away. He can always donate to that charity where Aunt May is voluntary. Peter later goes to bed, but he can't sleep with everything that happened today. He has too much to think about. Hell's Kitchen. Luke Cage is closing the bar. When he goes top UT the chairs on the table, the chairs starts to float and go arrange by themselves, like in a Disney movie. I hope that you don't care if I help a little. Luke turns to look at Idolin in his usual black attire. Not at all. Help is always welcome. I agree. Luke walks a little to the bar canteen and asks, "Beer? Anything? Do you drink anything?" He asks. "No, thank you, but I'm good. I don't drink. Only socially." Idolin says. Approaching, "I don't like the taste. And we can't even get drunk, so there's no meaning in drinking." "True. But I drink sometimes, is refreshing." Luke Cage replies. "But I don't think Idolin has come to my bar just to small talk." He continues, eyeing Idolin. "True." Idolin nods. "I came to give you a gift and some news." Luke Cage looks at him a little interested. "What news?" "About the disappearances." This makes Luke Cage perks up. "I'm on the trail. I sidetracked a little with the whole human trafficking ring, but I'm close to the real culprits." "Ah yeah, I have seen that. Good job, by the way." "Thanks. I come here to say that the guys that I arrested are not the real culprits of the thing that you talked to me. The history is darker. My informants told me that criminal bosses are hiring metas to even the playfield with the heroes. But this is not the only method for them. They are trying to make their own super henchmen. In laboratory." Idolin says and watches Luke Cage clenching his fist. Luke Cage has a similar experience, so he can relate. "Bastards. Yeah. I hear at some place a long time, that our very strength invites challenge. There's an arms race within the governments and in the criminal underworld to make weapons to oppose us. Humans are just material to them. Did you find them?" "I'm close. I want to go with you when you've found them." Luke Cage says seriously, with a face that will not take a no for an answer. No. Unfortunately to him, Idolin is not that easily intimidated. "Wait, don't get angry yet." Idolin holds up a hand to stop whatever Luke would say. I'm just saying in the situation. If I found them, I'm attacking immediately. There will be no time to come and fetch you. If I really need help I will call. He says, but he probably won't need any help. Luke sighs. Okay, you're right. Just give the bastards a good punch for me. Huh. Okay. Now the gift. Eidolon says. Eidolon's arm appears on one of the two front slits of this mantle. He is holding a suitcase. Where he is keeping that thing? Luke Cage asks in his mind. If he said that out loud he would be answered with a well, I'm Eidolon. Putting the suitcase in the counter of the bar, Eidolon opens it, revealing clothes made by my personal design, resistant to everything. Eidolon starts showing the costume set. A yellow shirt, black gloves, and boots, cargo pants, a black jacket and a mask that wouldn't be out of place in a post-apocalyptic scenario. The mask is useful to protect you from dangerous gases and poison. I believe that is one of the few of your weaknesses. Protect your eyes and mouth and has night and heat vision. Eidolon adds. Whoa, calm down. I'm thankful, but why are you helping me? Like that? Luke Cage asks. He needs to ask. Well, you're helping that day. And your clothes are damaged. I don't want you to flash anyone. Can you imagine how traumatizing must be? Eidolon's start. You could destroy some random guy's self-confidence. He jokes, making Luke laugh. But seriously, you don't need to do anything if you don't want. I'm not asking you to be a hero, but I know that, if the situation calls for it, it's hard to just stand by and do nothing, right? Luke nods. At least you will be prepared. By the way, here in the belt, there's a tracker. You press this button and a distress signal will reach me. I will come as fast as I can. If you are suspicious, just don't use the belt. Eidolon says before turning around and walking away, not giving Luke a chance to reject the gift. It cost almost nothing to help these street-level heroes. They're not multimillionaires and sometimes they don't have a companion to get their back. Eidolon can feel this gap. In the end, it's not a healthy endeavor to try to save the world alone. Hector POV Carvalho residence. I'm thinking. Recent events reminded me of something. You know, I can do much more than what I'm doing. I'm holding myself back for obvious reasons. I don't want the world to depend too much on me and I don't want to raise people's expectation too much either. With many of my powers, and now with Inuyahiki and Homelander assimilation, I can always hear/feel/see when someone is in distress on the globe. Seriously, the world is small to me now, but this is not a healthy thing to do. Go on like a maniac, saving everyone left and right. How many people are being killed right now? I know. I can know if I want. But I shut down these things. I made a rule for myself. Not going around crazy if it's not my time to patrol. The only exception is in the case of huge disaster. But in my patrol, I will help as much as I can. And don't go around actively searching for trouble. I prefer to let luck be deciding factor in who I will help. If I'm flying close or whatever. Because if I hear everything, I will need to choose. And if I choose, I'm letting someone die for another someone. This is not a good thing to carry in your conscience. But recent events are causing me to throw an exception. That episode with the human trafficking ring, meeting Luke Cage, remembers me of something. Someone. Jessica Jones. Normally I will not actively search for things like these. There's so much on my plate already. And actively using my powers to search sucks. Sucks greatly. Holy hell, is horrible. I don't even know the moment of the timeline. Is she suffering under Kilgrave now? Has she already suffered? Will she suffer? If I try to stop all the bad things that I remember what happened in Marvel, I will go crazy. And why is a named character more important than other people? Why should I go save Jessica Jones, when I'm not going to save the thousands suffering the same? It's because she is suffering under a metapower. Maybe. I can lie to myself. Whatever, I'm a hypocrite. Everyone is. I'm going out. I warn Isabella before opening a portal and putting on my mantle. My head is the first thing appearing at the top of this building. Ugh, I'm already with a headache only thinking about using my powers on large scale. Something is approaching, very close. I look a little above me and I see it. A female crotch covered in leather approaches my face at high speed. What the fuck? Yuakirito. The leather-clad pussy is almost touching my nose, when I decide to become intangible and let the woman phase through me. I'm the master of my own destiny, Yuakirito. On my back, I hear the woman rolling on the ground. When I turn around, I confirm my suspicions. She is looking at me with wide eyes, shocked by my sudden appearance. Shocked that she met me. She was probably jumping around the roofs when a head appeared through a portal, must have been. Weird. White hair, clad in black leather with white furs around her neck and in her ankles and wrists. A huge unnecessary cleavage. And a stupid domino mask. I can see the duffel bag full of gemstones at my feet. Well, Batman needs his cat burglar, right? Hell there. Is everyone good? I hope so. To compensate Abu, the last chapter taught is only the MC. Many characters in this and on the next chapter. I can balance things. Now let's talk about something important. Very important. The assimilation process. You know, I always let you guys gain information through the MC assumption, but I think it's time to let something clear about the mental effects of assimilation. Let's go. Like is already said, the Gtacha is the MC ally, has no morals, but it helps the MC. There are two principal assimilations processes. The assimilation of the body, the MC outward appearance and powers, and the assimilation of the mind, QI, mentality, personality, tastes. Hector is worried about going egomaniac, crazy or whatever if assimilates a character with these problems. Can it happen? Yes and no. Let me explain my take on the assimilation process. Possible change in the future. The MC has gained some mindset from some characters but not others. Why this? Who is choosing? The answer is Hector himself. Unconsciously. Is like this. The traits that Hector gains is the ones that he likes, that he admires, that he secretly yearns for himself. The Gtacha is helping him in becoming his own ideal version of himself. A Übermensch Hector. The things that he wants, he gains. And the things that he already have is enhanced. Without him losing himself. He originally, you guys don't know him before, is a calm, logical and patient guy. He was funny to the ones that know him. An introvert that delays opening up to other people. He has a little of an inferiority complex and is overall timid. He has some traits enhanced. He is more mature now, more calm and patient. Have a good control of himself. Is smarter. And what about the other traits? He admires Batman and others' characters' confidence. He gained that. He is a cautious man, now he is downright paranoid. He admires Katakuri's pride and honor. He gained that a little. Willpower, willingness to do bad things, being manipulative, being a playboy, etc. He gained them all. The things that he doesn't like. Batman's aversion to guns. Light god complex. Nope. He has received no influence from that. He is new to the Gtacha. He doesn't know how the Gtacha work. Maybe in the future, he will have a good control of his own morality and mentality. Shifting to good and evil like people change clothes. He gives signals of this, right? Now, what should we expect? A Hector a little more kind and gentle. Influence from Inuyashiki, Odin, and Rito. And a little funnier in social interactions, something that he admires in Beast Boy. He upbeat and outgoing personality. In truth, he is already a funny guy. We, that see his thoughts know that. He is all the time making references and jokes in his mind. But outwardly he is stone-faced. He is slowly opening up with the girls. There are traces of that already. Did you guys notice? Important. He is still himself. Don't expect him to become so kind that will not kill anymore, or become a clown. He still has control. He controls with who he wants to be kind, and with who he will act.